Oh, okay, now it seems to work. All right, there we go. It was interesting because my phone rang. I don't know. I keep getting your connection is unstable. What is going on here? Ugh. Anyway, okay, I hope you can see me. I don't know what YouTube is doing. I don't think the problem is in my computer. I've restarted the computer. I tested everything. I even opened Audacity so that I could listen to the sound. It sounded good. The video was working. I don't know what happened. I guess, maybe they just don't like me. I don't know. But anyway, I still have more things I need to do with my home network. I need to replace my Ethernet switch. It's got some issues. It's one of those Cisco switches. But anyway, hopefully this continues. Now I opened another window over here. Oh, not again. I don't know what's going on. Now it looks like the video's down again. I hope everybody can see me. I checked the system resources on the computer. They seem to be working fine. I don't know what is going on. I can hear you and see you. Okay, well, I'm glad somebody can see me. Oh well. Anyway, I was talking about my morning experience, which was going along pretty well until the live stream decided to crap out on me. But I guess everybody can see me now, and that's good. So let me get back to the basics. What I was trying to do was share some of the experiences I've had, and I was talking about how my sleep is, and it's always been pretty good. But then a friend of mine called me to let me know that her friend is just not doing so well. She's in the hospital. She's got arrhythmia, and she's a lifetime vegan vegetarian. And she's only 60, um, 60, 61 in that region. So, again, like most of the vegans I know, once you get into your 50s, 60s, and after, you start to fall apart rather quickly. I don't think that happens to us carnivores, but if I don't have a heart attack in the next few years, and if YouTube is still around and the internet is still around, then you can see how I do if I make it to 60. Now, if I have a heart attack this year or next year or whatever, then the vegans can laugh at me and they can say, oh, that old carnivore, he just basically dropped dead and he should have eaten more vegetables and he should have had beans and whole grains and all that other garbage. Okay, that's fine. But with that being said, let's hope this thing stays stable. I have also disconnected my phone cable so that I don't get up. The phone doesn't ring. I don't know what happened the last time, but you do what you can. So, anyway, let's see what we have for comments. I see that you're hearing sound and Peter's back and audio was delayed. All right. Josephine C. Okay, so you're all coming back in once a week, man. Hi, Rick. So glad to have caught you live. Well, I'm glad to be here. If I get cut out again, let me know because this system doesn't really give you any feedback as to what's going on. In fact, the little audio thing that's supposed to come up, it just doesn't seem to do anything. I mean, I've been clicking on it and it doesn't do anything. But anyway, um, what can you say, right? If you can hear me okay, that's a good thing. All right. So what do we have here? Just watch your interview, Peter. Okay, that's good. And he does refer to me, which is kind of interesting. I made it to 62. Couple of well, that's good, Sandra. That's good. No heart attack yet. Looks and sounding good now. All right. So Papa Carnivore Peter says, while your live was down, I watched your video from a year ago. You're talking about your friend of 10 years. Yep. Dying that stored his stuff in your garage. Yeah. Yeah, that was I did that video. That was the one that was called Death Before Diet. And I first got to know him like 2013, and he continued to eat what I call the duck food diet. Now, he was always telling me that I needed to go to the doctor because one of the things that he liked to do was eat. That was his way of socializing. So if we wanted to get together, let's go eat. So we go to the buffet. And we both go to buffet because it was cheaper there at the time. Of course, now buffet doesn't exist. I think it's a medical center. The buffet we used to go to is now a medical center. How ironic. The buffet I went to as a kid, the Swedenhouse Smorgasbord, it turned into a Jack LaLanne health club, and eventually it became Scandinavian Health Club and Bally's Health Club, and now it's like half a tutoring center and half a Fuddruckers. So it's ironic the way these things work. But yeah, with him, he didn't start um, the carnivore keto diet until he discovered Dr. Ken Berry. And for some reason, a lot of people are attracted to Dr. Ken Berry. And at the time, it was 2020. My mom had died, and he likes to eat. But the thing is that I wouldn't go out to eat because for years I had to take care of my mom. So if I was going to go to eat with him, it'd be a rare occasion. And he didn't have a lot of money at the time. So what we started doing, he started coming to my house to eat, and I would make him some of my carnivore copycat foods, in addition to some non-carnivore foods. Like I would do my heart attack chicken, which was a carnivore food, and the pork rinds, which he liked. But he also liked fries. So I would do plantain fries cooked in beef tallow. And after being at my house a few times, he started wondering, well, why is it you don't eat any of this? All I ever see you eat is meat and drink water. Yeah, that's all I do. And I guess he got curious. I showed him some things on the internet. He found Dr. Ken Berry, and he began to watch Ken Berry every Monday. He wanted me to watch it. And I'm like, well, a lot of times I'm working. I don't have the time. Plus, it was after, the whole COVID thing was going on. So eating out was not really an option. And then he started to get more and more into the keto diet. It wasn't until maybe 2021, somewhere like summer 2021, that he started to go carnivore. But the thing about him is that because he'd eaten duck food for so many years, he liked eclairs, which I didn't even know what they were until he told me what it was. And he liked donuts. He used to have a place called Dandy Donuts that he would go to. And, I knew him when my mother was alive. What he would do, he'd get my mom some of those sweet treats or whatever, the donuts but that was even too sweet for my mom. But the thing is, once he got serious in the carnivore diet, he had already had he's had a five-way bypass, and he didn't really exercise either. He liked to sit in front of the computer all day. He would go there, and that's probably where he discovered Ken Berry. He'd get on YouTube, he'd send emails and all that, and he never did exercise. But even with that, when he started the carnivore diet, he lost weight. I think he lost about 25 pounds. But, you know, there is a point when your house is so full of termites and it's got so many roof leaks, it's ready to collapse. Even if you start pressure cleaning it and painting it, it's still going to collapse. And that's what happened to him in 2023. You know, Late 2022, early 2023, he was always getting tired, didn't feel good. I said, well, and the problem was he had many, many medications, and he got off of his medication very quickly. And I think that was part of the issue. If you get off your medication too fast, it's the same thing with changing your diet. It's like my ex vegan friend. He went straight into the carnivore diet from, you know, 40 years of vegan and vegetarian living to the carnivore diet in a week. And after a couple of months, he was sick, diarrhea, headaches, feeling bad, had no energy, whatever. I said, look, you're killing yourself with a carnivore diet. Well, I want to be like you. I want to be a real carnivore. I said, no, 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 no. You don't want to do that. What you need to do is find out which plant foods are the least harmful to you. You like broccoli, you like cauliflower, go for a low carb, meat based diet. Eat maybe 50% of your diet as meat and eggs, and the rest of it as vegetables and the occasional fruit. And that did the trick. Now I've seen videos about oxalate dumping and all these other things. I don't know what was going on. I'm not a doctor. I'm not an expert. But I told him, I said, if you do this, it'll probably work. And guess what? It did. Going on the meat-based keto diet really, really fixed the problem. And as time has gone on, he's added more and more meat and found that things are getting better. So I think that's one of the most important things. All right, so let's hit the comments now that we know it's working. And I see we have questions. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see. Um, I was going to bed, then Rick came up. Okay, well, that's good. Just if you got to go to bed, go to bed. You can always watch a replay. Diagnosed with pre-diabetes a couple of months ago. Started carnivore diet and it down, okay, 7 kilograms in 1 month. Wow. Feeling much better and have got some energy at least to start jujitsu and gym. Well, you know what? That's great. What is it? Bilal Ahmed. If you are getting more energy and you're getting strength, you should take advantage of it. I think that once a person's healthy, you want to move around. This is what I told my friend, a long time ago. He says he's going to exercise. I said, "How can you exercise when you're sick?" You get like he used to get gout and I think he had arthritis, all kinds of things. Don't feel good, get out of breath. How are you going to exercise when you feel sick? And I think this is a problem. A lot of people think they have to beat themselves up, go to the gym, go exercise to get healthy. And I think it's the opposite. I think that when you are healthy, you want to move around. Nobody wants to lay around all day or sit in front of a computer all day. I sure don't. I'd rather go outside and do something, meet people, and have fun. Okay, let's see. Hi, everyone. Annabelle. Question, Rick. Do you take any electrolytes on the carnivore diet or do you feel fine without? I know some people feel fine without. Yes, I do not. I have never used electrolytes on the carnivore diet. In fact, I hardly use any salt. And let me explain. There are certain foods that I will never season or salt ever, no matter what. And one of those is beef. I don't care what it is, whether it's a ribeye steak or T-bone steak or a beef shoulder or, cow tongue or heart or whatever. I like the flavor of beef so much, I will never ever season it and I will never salt it. So when I go with friends and we have a barbecue, of course, I'm always the barbecue man. So I put what's on the steak myself, but I never season beef and I never salt beef ever. Doesn't matter if it's steak, ground beef, oxtail, whatever. No. The same thing with duck. Muscovy duck, I will never, ever season, salt, or do anything to it. Now, I will marinate it occasionally on a tough old Drake because the meat's going to be really tough. So I'll use some sour oranges to marinate it, but that's about it. With other meats, pork, I like to salt. And sometimes, yes, I know it's bad, but when I eat pork that's from the store, it's not wild pork, which is different. By the way, wild pork is darker. It looks almost like steak. It's like Muscovy duck, it's a darker meat. Even chicken that's wild is darker. But with store-bought pork, which is a white meat and has a lot of fat on it, hopefully if it's a pork shoulder, I will salt that. A lot of times when I cook my pork shoulder, I boil it and I salt it. Also, with heart attack chicken, which is chicken deep fried in beef tallow or lard, I love to salt that. So I will always salt heart attack chicken. Now, I think one of the reasons I haven't needed electrolytes is because I eat yogurt every day. And I think that yogurt, because it's a fermented food, has electrolytes in it. And I've never had cramping. I've never had problems because of electrolytes. So I don't use that. And the other thing is, every time somebody's offered me an electrolyte drink, they taste absolutely awful. They have some kind of sweetener in them. And the natural ones, they taste like ocean water. So it's not something that I would want to drink. It's way too salty. So that's pretty much my story. Okay. Let's see. Way to go, carnivore. Let's see. How's my favorite? Okay, you're talking to each other. That's good. I used to take electrolytes at the start on the advice of Michaela Peterson. I don't need them anymore after I introduce some liver into my diet. Well, that's good to know. And yes, I've eaten a lot of liver over the years. I haven't had any lately because it hasn't been on sale, but I do miss it. I love liver. My mom used to give me liver as a way of trying to get stronger, and she would always go like this with the liver. And I like the liver. The problem is that mom would always overcook the liver. I used to eat most of my liver raw. And what I would do, I would freeze it. It would be in the freezer for a few weeks. And I think that would kill off any parasites that were in the liver, which I don't think there were any because I don't think I ever got any. They used to joke that I had a tapeworm because I'd eat so much and be so skinny, but I've never had any signs of a tapeworm. And I was tested for it when I was younger, and there were no tapeworms. But yeah, I do enjoy liver. I mean, to this day, cod liver is my favorite, but it's too expensive now, so I haven't had any in a while. Okay, what do we have? Good morning, Rick. Good morning, Wicked Stitches. Good morning. Good morning. I'm a bit run down. I've had a fever. Oh, that's a shame, Annabella. Well, there's a germ going around. I know that. Did you eat all the fat on a strip of bacon? Well, I mean, that's the whole idea of eating bacon. There's a lot of fat that goes with it. Hope you feel better soon. Okay. Rick, are you familiar with Anginus Wonderful? Yes, I've heard that name. In fact, the first time I heard of him was on the Joey Schwartz channel because he got into that whole thing for a while. But I haven't really done any research. Um, you have to realize that because I've been on this heart attack diet for so long, I never really took any interest in it. I may, it's hard to say, but it's I guess one of these days I'll have to look into it. Okay, let's see. Anyone remember Boss Hogg and Dukes of Hazzard? Yes. If you looked at my story, you'll see the reason why I started eating raw liver is because every time that Sheriff Roscoe wanted to eat some of Boss Hogg's food, he would take it away from him. But the one food that he always showed to him was raw liver because he always said raw liver. So it's like when I see, well, he's got it alive right now. Mitch, old guy carnivore, he smokes cigars. Well, I think of Boss Hogg because Boss Hogg smokes cigars. And I think if he wanted to make his channel better, he'd eat raw liver and smoke cigars. But yes, I am. I remember Boss Hogg, and I'm a Dukes of Hazzard kid. As you can see, I'm a Mopar man. I always liked the Roadrunner when I was a kid, but when the Dukes of Hazzard came up, you had the Charger. I became a fan of the Charger. That's why I own a few of them. And yeah, it was definitely a life changing show for me. And that was the main reason why I stayed up to 10 o'clock when I was younger, because normally my parents would want me in bed by 9 o'clock. But because the Dukes of Hazzard was from 9 to 10 o'clock, at least in the early days, my dad would say, "Oh, you got to watch this," because I think my dad knew that since I was kind of a car kid, I would enjoy this show, and it was really quite funny. And Roscoe P. Coltrane, I love it, I love it. Foss Hogg and Enos, are you dipstick? I can still remember a lot of those shows. In fact, I videotaped them. I have some of the videotapes in storage. They used to be on Channel 4. And unfortunately, I used to delete the commercials. I would have liked to keep some of those commercials because one of the commercials I do remember was the one for Time magazine. Now, I found it on YouTube, but it used to be, they had a song that was like, "Time flies and you are there. Time cries and lets you care." And then they show all these articles. And I remember one of them was the one they showed about cholesterol, which was a plate. It had two eggs as eyes and a piece of bacon frowning, and was talking about cholesterol. That's where I got the inspiration for the heart attack diet. I think the Dukes of Hazzard, I know it was on in 1979 when I was in elementary school. And I think it ran to like 1985 because I do remember seeing it when I was in high school. But I stopped watching the Dukes of Hazzard towards the end. First of all, I got too silly in the early days when it was in Georgia. It had sort of that kind of edginess to it, but then it got like a real life cartoon. And as a Charger guy, I was upset they're destroying all these Chargers, so I kind of stopped watching it. Plus, the Duke boys, they got into a contract issue, and then they replaced them, and I mean, it's a lot of things that happened. So I kind of got away from it. But I believe sometime in high school is when it went off the air. All right, let's see what else. Yeah, Andrews Vonderplans, just raw meat eater. Well, I've eaten raw meat as well, but I don't trust it enough to eat it on a regular basis. I do like the taste of raw meat. My mom used to say that I'm like a cat because my cat loves raw meat. All right, what do we have here? Rick, have you eaten raw meat? I answered that. Yes, I have, and I do once in a while. It's just a bad habit of mine. Um, do you eat? Okay, question for them. I am hoping it'll go well. I eat raw bone marrow and eggs. That's good. And fish. Are you looking well? You are looking well, Rick. Well, thank you, because if the vegans were here, they'd say that I look unhealthy, that I have dark eyes and I look really, really sick and my skin is all wrinkled and messed up. I look terrible for a 56-year-old. Okay. How is Milton and the Ducks? Well, Milton is awesome. I did a little video of him this morning. I called it El Toro because when I open the door to the bedroom, he runs in. And just like my first black cat used to do, he makes this sound like when he runs. He's starting to do that. I've never had any other type of cat that did that, but black cats seem to do that. My first black cat, which we named Harry after a commercial that they had, I think it was 9 Lives. I don't remember what it was, but yeah, this little guy, the neighbor called him Milton because he was found in the middle of the hurricane. But yeah, he's doing good. I had to lock him out because he's just a little too anxious. I give him his raw meat and he goes wild. He runs all over the place, attacks everything. Last time he attacked my microphone cable, so that may be a problem right there. And the ducks, well, I don't see them now, but they did fly in this morning. I gave them some duck food. I think Mrs. Duck, her ducklings have grown up, so they're roaming the neighborhood. And I think she's looking for another nesting spot. Once I figure out where she's nesting, I'm going to set up a camera and I'm going to set up a DVR and I'm going to watch the nest. And if I see any raccoons or any possums, I'm going to catch them or I'm going to use the crossbow to take care of the problem permanently. I even thought about maybe I should skin the raccoon and cook it up and feed it to the ducks. That would be the ultimate revenge. Take care of the what they call the trash panda. Because I did relocate two of them and they are kind of cute. But the thing is, if you've ever seen what raccoons can do to chickens or ducks, they don't look so cute, especially with the little teeth they got in there. They're pretty mean, and they often carry rabies. So that's it. All right, let's see what else we got here. Um, I ate some raw chuck, very spur of the moment. It reminded me of eating. Okay, raw apricot. Well, that's interesting. I've never had an apricot. I can't stand them. Two neighbors of ours are vegan. They are both obese. Wow. The vegans I know are not obese. They're just really skinny. And the thing is, people laugh at me. Well, Rick, you're skinny. I got skinny arms. I'm not Dr. Baker and I'm not Dr. Chafee. If I try to do a muscle, there is none. There's nothing there. It's firm, but there's nothing there. But the thing is that I'm not like the vegans. You get a vegan to lift, let's say, just a concrete block. They have to use both hands. I can grab one with one hand and pick it up, no problem. I've never seen a vegan that can pick up an engine block and put it on the engine stand or a transmission. I install and remove the transmissions myself. So even though I am skinny and I don't have that appealing, attractive look of the high end carnivores, I mean, everybody wants to see Dr. Chafee without a shirt, but nobody wants to see me without a shirt because, first of all, I'm extremely white. And second of all, nobody wants to look at a skeleton except maybe on Halloween. But anyway, all right, let's see. What else do we have here? All right. Milton is like a little black panther. Yes, he is. I eat raw beef, raw liver, and raw bone marrow. Although I cook the bone marrow and liver, I can't get it at a place that has high quality. Well, that's a smart thing to do. You don't want to give yourself parasites or an infection. Rick, do you dye your hair? No, great. No, I do not dye any of my hair. I have no reason to. You see, I believe that gray hair is not a detraction. If you see somebody, let's say you see an old man that's got muscles and he's in good shape, and you see gray hair, you're not going to go, oh, pathetic old fart. No, you're going to go, oh, that's what do they call that? Silver fox. You see a guy with gray hair that's in good shape, you think, yeah, that's pretty impressive. Now, I know a lot of the influencers do dye their hair, but I want you to look. Nothing on my body is dyed in any color. What I put in my hair is beef tallow or lard. That's it. I don't dye anything. And besides, my eyebrows don't have any, I don't have any gray hair anywhere. Any part of my body, there's no gray hair yet. It'll come in eventually, but I have no reason to dye it. And when I do get gray hair, I think it's going to be a compliment because then people can realize that you're not a kid. I actually get mistaken for people that are a lot younger. And sometimes when I talk to people and I talk about the experiences I've had, they look at me strange. When I'm talking about a Commodore 64 or a Timex Sinclair or an Aquarius computer, they're like, how do you know that? I had it. I have to show my driver's license to show how old I am. Some people just don't believe me. I've been to the store One time, oh, years ago, and I've had to buy things, and you have to be over 18 to buy some kind of chemical. I think like last year, and they check. It's like, come on, people, whatever. It's just crazy. All right, you've got some muscle. Well, I hope I do. Otherwise, I can I couldn't be able to move. The texture was weird. It gave me the vibe of eating fruit. It is kind of true. It would be like some of that string, like a mango or something. Do you ever keep the skin's fur? I should. If I do kill a raccoon, I'm thinking about making a cap out of it, like Davy Crockett, so I can show everybody, and maybe I could walk outside and show the raccoons, and maybe they'll stay away. Okay. Rick, you'd be very dark next to me. I have skin like Snow White. Well, I'm not that dark. You can see I am whiter than most people. I mean, I live in Miami, so most people here are a bit on the dark side. So even though I'm a mixture of Hungarian, French, Spanish, and German, so I got a little of everything. So I'm not the typical, my last name is Rodriguez, but I am 6'6", and I'm not dark skinned. Most of the Rodriguezes are going to have totally black hair. My hair, although it looks black, is not actually black because you can see like on the rest of me, it's a mixture of black and lighter brown and just like all colors. But when you put beef tallow and lard on it, it definitely has that look. Okay. Yeah, silver fox. There you go. Um, Paleolithic ketogenic diet. That's good. I've got grays. I don't know if carnivore would take the gray away. Probably not. But some people say that it does. And if it does, that's great. If it doesn't, who cares? There's nothing wrong with gray hair. Now, what is it that makes a person unattractive? Is it the gray hair? No. I think the real problem is, what does your skin look like? You may have black hair, and there's a lot of people here, we call them shoe polish hair. They're old and their hair is black. And they're old. And how do you know it? Well, because under their neck, their skin is like, it's saggy. Mine, it springs back. But there's a lot of people that are my age in their 50s, and they have that sort of turkey neck going on there. Now, a lot of it's going to come from being obese. If you're obese and your skin stretches out, it's going to be really hard to get it back unless you're really young. When you get older, that doesn't happen. Although they say that through fasting and through, certain types of food, you can do that. But when your skin has sort of that, it's you go like this and it just stays like paper, that's a good indication that you're getting old. If you have a giant gut sticking out, nobody likes that. Even if you're a young person, you look like the Pillsbury Doughboy. It doesn't matter if you have good hair. If you look like that, you're not attractive. And I think that's the most important thing. So, one of the things that really gets me mad is that older people in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, they act like they're over the hill and they're done. And I don't believe that. I believe if you look at, for example, a cat takes 2 years to mature. You can have a 10-year-old cat acting like a young cat. That's 5 times as much. So, by that reasoning, a human being should be active until they're 100 because it takes 20 years to mature. 5 times that is 100. So, there's no reason why a person in their 60s should be fat, disgusting, and unhealthy. I don't believe that. I really don't believe that. Now, again, having gray hair does not make you unattractive in any way. That's what I believe. What does make, you know, it really, how can I put it? It's like an antique, A lot of people like antiques that have a few dents, dings, and rough spots. I tend to like antiques that look like new. So I have a lot of old stuff. I try to keep it in new looking condition. But, an old car, you may have a restored 69 Charger, which I think is the most beautiful car around. And you can drive that. It looks awesome. It looks better than a new car. So you compare that car, even if it has a few scratches and dents, to, let's say, a brand new Tesla. No matter what you do to a Tesla, it's never going to look like a 69 Charger. Even the new, everybody drives around in these new Maseratis and Porsche 4 doors. These things are garbage. They're ugly. They're nasty. But an original one from the 60s, those actually look pretty good because they got a nice shape, the nice color, the chrome. You're not going to get that on the new ones. So again, if you're older, you shouldn't give up. And I think the worst thing that people do is they become sedentary. And I think it's because they're unhealthy. They've crammed duck food down their throat for years. They feel like crap. They don't want to do anything, you know. Just getting them out of bed is a mission. But if you can go out there, you can be healthy. I mean, even if you're a sickly looking person like me, you can still do this. I mean, as you know, I don't have any problems. You think I got arthritis? I mean, come on. I can do pretty much anything that a 25-year-old can do. I can even outwork them, and I don't get tired like they do. So that's not too bad. All right, let me get back to the comments because I don't want to be a blabbermouth. Let's see what we got here. Okay, a lot of comments. That's great. I got 37. Wow, not bad. Not bad at all. And 12 likes. Make sure you click the like, unless you hate me, in which case you don't have to. Let's see. Okay. Do you put tallow in your hair? Yes, I do. Lard and tallow is all I use. Annabella says my hair is very pretty now. It was falling out before carnivore. There you go. Well, hair is made with protein, and you get a lot of protein on the carnivore diet. It's all about how we started cooking meat and also about giants. All right, that's interesting theory. I feel that carnivore makes you look beautiful because health is beautiful. Well, I agree with that 100%. If you're interested in alternative history. Okay. And let's see what else we have here. Hmm. Thinking of trying it out just to see if it helps the grays. Hey, you got nothing to lose by trying tallow. He walks with me. Hi, Rick. Hello. You are flexible but not flimsy. That is very true. You know, I've had a lot of mishaps. I've had several accidents. I've been hit while driving. I've been hit in the Bobcat. And recently I hit a coconut tree on my bicycle because the front wheel came off. I slammed into the tree just like the coyote when he's chasing the roadrunner. And the lady that saw me do that after I hit the tree and fell to the ground on my back, she was in shock. You know, she was going to call 911. And I stood up and I'm like brushing the dirt off. Are you okay? Are you okay? I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm gonna call. No, don't call anybody. I'm fine. So yeah, I think I am pretty tough. You see a lot of older people. They start getting fall. They fall. They break their hip or whatever. And a lot of times they say, "Well, I was fine until I broke my hip." I'm like, no, you were fine until you became weak and fell. You fell because you were sick. You didn't become sick because you fell. A normal person doesn't fall and break anything. We humans are not that flimsy. If you've ever seen a cat and what a cat can do, they run, they bang into things, they run all over the place, and they don't get hurt. They say that cats have 9 lives. And I'm beginning to think that one of the reasons they have 9 lives is because they eat the carnivore diet. Their body's full of protein, they don't have a lot of sugar. And if you're not glycating your cells, I think they're stronger. I think that when your muscles are full of fat, they become weak and then they're harder to control. A lot of people I know, if they hold their hand out, their hand shakes. Now, it's normal for your fingers to move, as you can see. But some people, they put their hand out and they're shaking. The other thing is that when you go to shake somebody's hand, they're usually cold. And I've noticed that everybody that I know, unless you're outside working, your hands are cold. But when I shake somebody's hand, they always say that my hands are warm. And I think it's because of the good circulation. All right. So let's see. You're flexible. Duck Chargers in the 21st and a half century. Remember Duck Dodgers from the Looney Tunes cartoon? Yeah, that was funny. Okay. All right. I used to use all over skin. Okay, that's fine. Doing awesome, Rick. Well, that's great. I saw a question here. Let's see. Where did that go? Hmm. Hi, Rick. Do you have a lot of visible veins? I've noticed more in the past few years after eating lower carb foods, meats. Well, let's take a look. I don't have a lot, but I mean they are visible, but because of the fact that I'm not huge and muscular, you don't really see them. A lot of times When I'm working, they'll start to come out. I got them on the arm here. I don't know if you can see it. They are visible. I also have arteries that are visible. There's one actually here, and I can see my pulse. Yep. Which they say is really unusual for somebody my age, but I can definitely see it. It's just a matter of getting the right position. Also on the side of my neck, if I turn my head a certain way, you can also see that. So that is unique. But you got to remember that most of the people around here, they tend to have a lot of body fat, and I think that hides a lot of that. My body fat percentage the last time it was tested was around 14%. So I'm not super lean, but I'm not really, I'm not heavy either. So I think 14% is a good healthy range for most people. All right. What else do we have here? Use older skin. Okay. I do, especially after getting going, working instruction. Mitch, old guy carnivore, says this is evidence of increased and improved blood circulation. I don't get tired of work. That is correct. That is very, very true. I've noticed that. Okay. Good to read you. I made lamb bone broth today. I'm going to make chicken bone broth tomorrow. Those are all good. They're very tasty. You get taste for it. Great philosophy, Rick. And what happened to this? It moved again. Okay. I'm older, 50s, but I can outwork all of my colleagues in their 20s and 30s. Carnivore has saved me. See, there's nothing wrong with being older. And one thing I really get frustrated with is the people that go for cosmetic surgery. They try to change their appearance so they look younger. And that really to me is stupid because if you think about it, if your home is rotten, full of termites and leaking all over the place, what are you going to do? Put vinyl siding on it to make it look better? It's still a disaster. I would rather have an old stone house that's got mildew and a little bit of dirt on it and needs a pressure cleaning, but is solid as a rock. And that's what you want to be. Being old is not a bad thing. I think that being old is a good thing. If you can be old and stable and strong and healthy, then you're an example for other people. If you got some wrinkles and you got some funny scars and stuff like that, who cares about that? That's just part of saying, you know what, this is what I went through. I went through all this to get to where I'm at. I'm not perfect, but I'm doing the best I can. I think that's the way to go. All right, let's see. I initially became concerned about my visible veins, but thought it's from both expansion of the venous system and loss of more fat. And you're probably right about that. OMG. Anyone notice that cuts heal quicker now? Well, I had no idea. I thought all cuts were supposed to heal in a week because that's the way it works for me. I had a deep cut like a few months ago right here where I got cut on a piece of rusty metal. I had to tape it together because it expanded out, but I never get infected. And I don't really have any scar. I've had a lot of serious cuts because I work, I do everything from trash removal to demolition, and I don't have any long lasting scars. They do tend to heal very well. A minor cut, a scrape, 1 week. A deep cut, 3 weeks. And it becomes completely unnoticeable. And yeah, but I realize that other people that get cut, I've known they've gotten infections, they've had to have stitches, they've had to have all these things go on. And it is kind of interesting because if you think about it, I'm the only 56-year-old I know that has never had to be on an antibiotic. I've never had to use antibiotics, and I've never been on a prescription medication other than some cough medicine when I was a kid. And I actually have those bottles. I hope this thing doesn't cut me off. I think that's the only one. I have another one, I believe, that's also a cough medicine. Because when I was a little kid, a lot of times I'd get these really bad flus, and I was a kid that always got sore throats. Um, they said I might have had strep throat. The first sign of getting a cold, I would always get a sore throat, and it was bad. You couldn't even swallow. It was terrible. The last one I got was in 1983, and then I got it again in 93 when I went plant based. So the interesting thing was since I've been on the carnivore diet, I haven't had to use this. And by the way, there's still stuff in here. And if you look at the date, I mean, look at how old this is. 1979. And I know where the doctor's office used to be. I actually took a video. I never uploaded it. I should upload it. But I remember the doctor's office. Our doctor actually had, she was house calls when I was a kid and then went to an office. But when I was a little kid, the doctor would come to the house. And I actually liked our doctor. Her name was Grumley. And I loved the doctor because she was a nice lady. I always liked it. That many of the doctors I had were female. They were usually the nicer ones. So yeah, as a kid, the whole doctor thing. That's about it. I don't. I have another one, and I haven't had. I don't think I've been to. Well, I went with my mom and dad. I had to get stuff from the pharmacy for them, but I've never had to get anything for myself from a pharmacy, and I'm kind of happy about that. My medicine cabinet looks like a museum because the only aspirin bottle I have in there is glass, and it says Bayer aspirin, so it's probably from the 70s or 80s. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Oh, oh wow. Let's see. A lot of comments. I'm really happy about all this. Anyone notice? Okay. I made chicken and bean broth. Yummo. Once a week, man. Okay. If you look at the ingredients of cat food, it is horrible. Only 5 to 10% is meat and it's cooked. Yes. Yeah, that's true. I like feeding my cat raw meat. He's a healthy little guy. I love that little cat. I was in a bike accident this week. It was pretty bad. The people there called an ambulance, but I knew I didn't want to go to the hospital because that is an X-ray machine. Yeah. Well, hopefully, let's see. Good for the body. I didn't want any painkillers. I stayed home. See, you're recovering pretty well. If your body has what it needs, it can usually recover. Now, you can't recover from, let's say, a trauma. If you cut yourself or you break something, you're going to have manipulation, um, stitches, setting, a cast, or whatever. But the minor bumps and bruises, the scrapes, and all that, I think your body is perfectly capable of recovering from. Oh, wow, the sun is finally coming out. That's interesting. It's been cloudy all morning. When I woke up this morning, my windows were fogged because it's warm outside. Okay. Um, Bone broth is awesome stuff. My hair grows really quickly on carnivore. It's much thicker now. It's silky. My hair doesn't grow that fast. I don't have to cut my hair but once every couple of months. In fact, I think it's been 2 months since the last time I cut it. But because of my style, it's heavily larded down. It doesn't stick up that much. But, maybe one day after I cut, I'll let it dry out and you can see that my hair is a lot lighter without all the lard in it. All right. What else do we have here? Yes, I was worried about varicose veins, DVT, and other related circulation issues. Well, let me tell you a little something about that. My mom suffered from varicose veins as long as I can remember. When I started taking care of my mom, she was no longer cooking for herself. I started giving her carnivore look-alike foods, such as Rick's Heart Attack bread and Heart Attack shrimp and all this stuff. And just by cutting back on the carbohydrates, my mother's varicose veins almost disappeared, which is really kind of shocking. My mom was starting to have health issues in 2008, but she became hospitalized in 2010 with a serious urinary infection that made her zone out and just become like a vegetable. Well, she recovered from that, but she was in the hospital again in 2011, 2012 when my dad died. And then 2013 was the last time she was in the hospital. But by that time, I was taking care of my mom and I was manipulating her food. And I noticed that she stayed out of the hospital, did not get an infection until 2018. Actually, 2017, after the hurricane, is when she started having problems. Now, my problem was my mother did not like meat. She would not eat pork. She would not eat beef other than in a hamburger in a large bun with the lettuce and tomato and all that stuff. So, but again, I was able to kind of sneak it in there. Normally, she'd want to get a burger from Checkers or even McDiarrhea, but no, Rick's Heart Attack burger was much better. And yeah, it was a challenge, but the veins did go away, and that was good. Although mom was already in her 80s and had cancer a couple times, and I think it was eventually colon cancer that got her. And towards the end, she wouldn't eat any meat at all. She just wanted to eat stupid ice cream and crackers and all that duck food. When my mom died, I had two plastic containers full of duck food that she was eating. And you know where that went. And that's where the duck population really started to go up because I threw it all to the ducks. She also loved bread, but we always had loaves of bread in the kitchen. And I did get my mom to eat bacon, and she didn't like eggs that much, but I did give her one boiled egg a day. That's all I could get her to eat. But the varicose veins did go away, so that was good. All right, let's see. Um, hmm, okay. I used to take those cough medicines. Yeah. All right. You are very healthy, Rick. You are an inspiration. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Rick, have you ever seen the movie Harold and Maude? Maude is this amazing woman in her 80s. She's full of life and eccentric. No, I haven't. I really haven't watched a movie since the 1980s, unless it's come out on TV. And I stopped watching TV in 2010, so I probably missed it. It's hard for me to justify the time to watch a movie when I could go on YouTube and do a live stream or be on a live stream or be outside living my life, which is what I want to do because my time is limited and that heart attack's coming soon. So I don't want to get my, I don't want to die and waste my time before I get that heart attack. The bright red spots, oxalate dumping on body resolved after reintroducing bread. Okay, see, sometimes you have to put a little duck food in there to slow down the process. Although I can't imagine eating bread. Bread is my dad was big into bread and whole grains, and that's probably one of the reasons I hate it. My dad was very health conscious, and I was the opposite. I just wanted to die. So I still can't believe I reversed diabetes. Well, good for you, Annabella. Good for you. You see, this is possible. I got a friend that has diabetes. I'm working on him. He's not drinking soda anymore. He's cut back on the duck food. He's eating more meat. He's doing pretty good. So we'll see. Now he's what, 69? So he has time. I think he can reverse it. But there's been a lot of damage done. Rachel Fitzpatrick. I used to take those cough bottles when I was a kid. They're practically bottles of sugar. You're right. That's what I remember. Um, I thought it would be hard to go off medicine. I was wrong. There's no struggle. Perfect blood sugar. And Jonathan's here. Great to have you. I'm sorry I couldn't watch your live. I watched part of it, but then I had trouble doing mine. My computer, I don't know, crashed. I don't know what happened, but I'm glad you're here and I'm happy to see you. If you haven't seen Jonathan's channel, it's called Carnivore Muscle. Anyone who's serious into bodybuilding or maximizing your physique on the carnivore diet, this is the man that you want to see. And he also offers one-on-one coaching, and he charges a reasonable rate. And I think out of all the people you'll see on YouTube, he is the one that is the most qualified. So check him out if you want to. And I see they're saying hi to Jonathan. That's good. William McCartney. Okay. Okay. We have one here from DS111. In the Pink Panther movies, Inspector Clouseau's Japanese karate instructor's training method was to randomly attack Clouseau. Yeah, Kato. Ah! I remember he had I think it was Return to the Pink Panther. They had Professor Balls, which was Harvey Korman, and this guy was a wacko. You know, he had this like 1800s looking store, and instead of using an intercom, he had one of those things like you blow into on the ship, and he go to get attention. Dust would come out the other end, and then somebody knock on the door, and then he gives him a bomb. Oh, special delivery, a bomb. Oh, a bomb. Ah, a bomb. And he throws it. Boom. The whole thing blows up. He goes back to the commissioner. His hat is open at the top with smoke coming out. A bomb. Yeah, and then when he goes home, Kato is there. Ah! So, yeah, Milton does remind me of that. He is a crazy animal. Okay, what do we got here? Somebody driving slow. Oh, that's a lawn service. Okay, that's across the street. All right, so just had a chat. Yeah, I saw the chat, Jonathan. I'll have to watch the rest of it. I mean, I did comment, but I can only be there so long. My dogs are on raw carnivore. They love it. That's right, once a week, man. You got that right. Animals love meat. Itchy, dry skin stuff. Yeah, see? Homemade creams. Exactly. Joe Dispenza has a pretty sound evidence that things can heal incredibly quickly, more quickly than even us carnivores might think. Well, that's good to know. I've got surgery booked now for the 29th. It's going to be my carnivore doctor doing the surgery. Well, that's good. I'm it's glad to see you have a carnivore doctor. I'm curious, for those of you that have carnivore doctors, do they have that great physique like Sean Baker or Anthony Chafee or any of them? In fact, when I look at carnivore doctors, you got that dentist, Kevin Stock or whatever. I think he had a video where he was shirtless on his bicycle. I'm thinking, well, I don't go shirtless on my bicycle because I don't want anybody to have a heart attack. How awful I look. But all these carnivore doctors, the popular ones, they all look so nice. And the vegan doctors, they look like crap. I mean, seriously, How Not to Age, How Not to Die. Remember that guy that wrote the book? Have you seen what he looks like? You think I'm skinny? Oh, this guy is sad because not only is he skinny, but he's got a gut that sticks out and he can't even talk coherently. Go, and he bobbles his head like this. It's like you're looking at a bobblehead. It's crazy, but yeah, it'd be interesting. So good for you. You got a carnivore doctor. All right. Just subscribe. There you go. Okay. Thank you. Awesome live. I'm looking forward to see more of Julie's channel. That's great. I'll hopefully be interviewing some of you once I get a computer that is powerful enough to run streaming software without crashing, because that's what mine does. Found a good cat food. Okay. I hate when this thing jumps. Okay. Let's see. Wow, we got a lot of comments. Very good, very good. Found a good cat food. Mauser is a name. I've heard about that. I don't really use canned cat food. And Jeff Struzlik says, got to run. Have a great day. You have a great day too. Enjoy your day. I watched that podcast. Okay. Rick, is your carnivore bread on your channel? No, it is not. I have to admit, I haven't put the video up, and I've been too busy to make some more. I've been having the heart attack burgers without buns, but one of these days I will make it, and it's actually quite good. Now, there's this other guy, Chris Cooking Nashville, who does a lot of these carnivore recipes. I've been watching his channel, and I really don't get into the whole carnivore recipe thing, but I can understand why people would do that. And I'm learning because I'm going to try to get my carnivore game a little bit up. I got my other friends that are reluctant to try carnivore, and bread is a big obstacle. So thank you very much to Chris Cooking Nashville for giving me these ideas. I'm going to try some of these recipes. I'm going to try to be more conventional because as the iguana man, people look at me and they're like, you know, it's like the Adams family. Everybody knows who they are, but nobody wants to go in their house. So if I can learn some of these more conventional, I think they were making potato chips and nacho chips and tacos and all that. That might be just the trick to get people interested in the carnivore diet. And I know you hardcore carnivores out there, you're going to go, no, you shouldn't do that. But remember, anybody has a problem with the carnivore copycats, I'm the original. And I'm the hardcore carnivore because that's what I like. But I have no problem with somebody trying something different. One of the great things about being humans is that we're creative. We're not like a cat. A cat has to chew on the raw meat. Cat can't cook meat. Cat can't blend foods, they don't cook. They don't create foods. They just eat what's there. And that's the difference. So I think that's kind of a nice thing. All right, Diary of a CEO. I've seen that channel. Um, Kenny Robertson, not being yourself. Okay. Um, Harold and Maude was made in 1971. A lot of Cat Stevens songs in it. Okay. My elder sister got me to watch it. I'll have to check that out. Someone said a cup of tea can help with dumbing. Okay. You can Google it and see. Rick, you are an encourager. Your friends are very lucky. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And they do. When my friends have problems, I'm the one they call. That's why sometimes my phone doesn't stop ringing. So what I did today, I disconnected the phone cable. That way they can't call me because my phones are wired. Now they'll have to come up to the door and knock on the door. And then I can just pull the blind down and ignore them. All right, what else do we have? Um, Rick, do you ever jog or sprint? Dr. Chafee said the sprinting is good. I'm going to try it at the high school field. Well, you know what? I would do that here, but in Dade County, They have blocked off all the school fields. They put up no trespassing signs. They actually take our tax money, thousands of dollars a year per home. We used to have pass throughs, and now they blocked it off. They even put barbed wire in some of the schools. So it's like I said, what used to be a school is now a prison. But when it comes to sprinting, yes, I do that. I do not jog. I think that is stupid. If I want to go any distance, I'll hop on the bicycle and ride that. Sprinting, yes, because when I'm over at the canal trying to catch my ducks and iguanas, I'll wait in hiding. I'll start throwing some food at them until they get complacent. And then I run and I have to tackle them because they're so low to the ground. I run after them. And sometimes what I'll do, I'll run in front of the duck and then back. And you have to try to zigzag because otherwise they'll fly away. If you chase a duck directly in the rear, it's going to fly off. It's going to go across the canal. So what I do, I kind of walk a little around. You have to get away from them, far away, and then zag into them. And then that way, when they try to fly away, you can catch them. So if you're really good at getting them and you run fast enough, you get them confused because ducks, they're not that smart. They see you coming. But the thing is, they don't expect you. Most humans don't move that fast. And then when you get the right moment, you can chase them, you grab them, especially the big fat males because they can't fly very well. And once you've got them by the tail, they're yours. Then you grab them by the wings, and you take them over to your bicycle, and you have your burlap bag ready, and you slide the bag over Ducky, and tie it up, and that's it. You can ride home with Mr. Ducky, and he'll be in his duck pen, and he'll be getting his 2 to 4 weeks of tropical fruit and duck food. And then he will be the honored guest in the kitchen. He will get the head of the table and he will be delicious. So that's the only time I really do sprinting. All right, let's see who else we have here. Yeah, we're up. Wow, 41 people. This is great. I'm so happy to have you here. All right, let's see. Yes. Okay, Jonathan. I'm going to try and go live with Rick on Tuesday. Well, you let me know and I'll be there. Morgan, cheers, Rick. Okay. Polish Mike is here. Well, that's good. That's another hardcore carnivore there. I like that. I saw Jonathan's live earlier today. He for sure puts good content. Yes, he does. That's why I recommend his channel. He's a friend too. I really like him. Okay. Okay, I see some Polish there. It was weird stopping bread. I tapered off and then returned occasionally, but don't eat anymore. See, that's it. You don't need bread. Bread is unnecessary. I watched a Western. He had an apple in, what is that? The middle of nowhere. Okay. My doctor is thin and fit. He doesn't look like Dr. Anthony. Okay, so he's thin like me. Well, that's still good. I mean, I have to admit, thin people are not unattractive. Even me, I'm skinny. If I see somebody that looks like me, I'd say that's a pretty decent looking person. That's not a model. I don't have six pack abs. I'm just a skinny guy. But this is the way a lot of us looked in the past. Look at people from the 1930s and 40s and 50s and even 60s. Most people were thin. Look at like Woodstock or one of those things where the hippies were. You didn't see too many fat people then. And they existed, but it was rare. So we're just normal. All right, let's see. All right. Okay. This is fun, Rick, like hanging out with friends. Well, we are friends. That's why we're here. You see, this is not the carnivore cult. This is not the place where you have all these people. They're joining some kind of group. You have to pay every month to have your conference or whatever. This is just free. Now, it'd be better if we had a conference, and maybe one day I'll do that when the computer works like it should. But eventually, hopefully, I'll meet some people in person. And if I could just get enough interest, maybe I could have enough people living around where I live. We'll have a carnivore get together when I have my new place and I have all the extra space. You could just come over to Rick's place. You could enjoy some meat. You could go bowling in my bowling alley or play pinball or maybe go to the pool table. You have a lot of options and you'll be busy. You go to my house and then maybe there'll be ATVs to ride around in or, who knows? There's always something to do at Rick's place. You just sign a waiver so you don't sue me and then have some fun. It'll be good. I think part of the carnivore lifestyle is being active. And you'll notice that when I do my videos, I'm doing it from my bedroom. I don't use the gamer chair. A lot of the people that do online, they use a gamer chair so they can be comfortable. I'm sitting against a hard wall on a bed. I'm sitting like this. You don't see me sitting normally because I don't like to sit up straight. I like to lean back. Sometimes I'll do this. I'm not one of those people that likes to sit at a desk all day. And I do have a standing desk in my home office that I can use. But yeah, this is kind of fun because I think out of all the live streams, mine is the most unique. There is no fancy stuff here. It's like going back in time. It would be like if we had this technology in the 70s, then this would be the way a live stream would be. You got the wired microphone, you got the wired computer, it's all ready to go. Okay, so let's see what else we got here. Oh yeah. The doctor I saw on Tuesday is very obese. His bottom popped during my appointment. Oh boy. I know I'm still overweight, but I'm working on getting. It's really, to me, it's embarrassing. There's nothing wrong with being out of shape to some extent, but to be obese like that and then call yourself a doctor, that's not good. That's just it's sad. And what really bothers me is when people breathe hard in their normal day. I don't like getting close to people anyway, but these people, they want to help you or they want to look at something and they're like, they're breathing like that. I'm like, what is wrong with you? You know, you haven't done anything. You're not moving around. And a lot of times when you try to talk to them, they're on the cell phone, they're breathing hard because they're trying to talk and walk at the same time. Me, I ride bike and I talk at the same time. I work and I talk at the same time. I don't have a problem with that. So, I don't know. That's just I'm a bit prejudiced in that way. Rick's heart attack cookbook. I can see it now. You know what? That's not a bad idea. I should do that. I have enough frozen bacon fat to make heart attack chicken drumsticks this weekend, two at a time. Mm, you're making me hungry. I haven't had chicken for a couple of weeks now because it's been expensive, but it is on sale. I may have to get some. I had a whole load of dumpster meat that was given to me by a friend who was cleaning out the freezer. So I've been eating dumpster meat, and it's okay. Some of that meat's 4 years old, but I eat it anyway. All right. Hello, Rick. Habla español. No, my español is un poquito. I mean, I can speak it some extent, but it's just not. I can understand more than I can say. No entiende. That's what I just tell everybody. Okay. Carnivore muscle. A giant Floridian man chasing ducks. Last seen 4th Street. Yeah, well, I'm the oddball. But then again, when somebody has a duck problem, they always call me because they know I can catch them, and I bring them here to my duck sanctuary. There's actually a duck lady named Eunice that I met like 20 years ago up in Broward County, and she has her home. She calls it Duck Haven. And whenever people have injured birds, they take it over there. I think they have volunteers, but nobody really gives any money because nobody really likes Muscovy ducks, but she does the best with what she's got. And I feel bad for the duckies. So I call myself Duck Haven South because all the rescued ducks, they come here. My neighbors bring me ducklings or injured ducks, and I've had to deal with broken legs and infections and stuff like that. I use fish antibiotics to treat the ducks, and I set the broken legs myself. And if the duck is not able to heal, or if it's just too badly injured, well, we have a very humane euthanasia program, which ends in my kitchen normally. So Ducky doesn't go to waste. Ducky is definitely delicious. All right. Let's see. Hope it goes well. It's okay. That's actually a good idea for Rick to make a buck. Yeah, that is a good idea. I'm going to start taking some of your ideas because you people are pretty good about that. Okay. I like chicken again. Yeah, see, that's what heart attack chicken does. I love it, Rick. See, that's it. Duck abduction. Oh boy. Cook chicken wings on Friday, cover them with butter. Oh, those are really good. Really good. Sprinting and eating meat. You're killing two birds with one stone. Yeah. I need to do something with all this bacon fat. Well, start frying with it. That's the smartest thing you can do with it. Okay. Um, hmm. I ran the fastest in my life as a little girl when I ran into a spider's web. Oh, I hate when that happens. Then you're looking for the spider. The best chat all day and the start of a morning now. I've turned to a T-bone. Oh man, that's good. Okay. I love staying up late with my carnivore friends. Well, good. I'm glad you're here. Do you have sensitivity to such things as perfumes or other pungent? Yes, I do. In fact, it's not just the perfume. My mom used to use perfume and it gave me a terrible headache. Every time we'd ride in the car, I would feel sick and dizzy and feel like throwing up. And it's not, you got these Latin American guys, they wear this horrible cologne. This stuff is so strong. It smells like paint and other chemicals mixed together. You can smell this stuff from 200 feet away. And I'm telling you, I've done it. In fact, our mailman uses this stuff. He was 4 houses down and I could smell it. So it's pretty strong stuff. My dad used to use what they call Old Spice. It came in a ceramic jar, a ceramic. It was like a bottle and it had a little plastic thing on the top of it. And I remember that smell. That was another one that used to bother me. I can't stand that stuff. It drives me crazy. And I always said, I have cats. They don't smell bad and they don't use cologne. What is the deal with that? Well, they give themselves a bath. So, well, we give ourselves a bath. We got a bathroom and wash ourselves off and we clean our clothes. Why do you have to use that stuff? And I think in many ways it just makes a person less attractive, but that's just my opinion. I can't stand it. Yeah, I'm very sensitive to it. Okay, I ain't singing no waiver. Yeah, well, then you're not coming. You're not coming. I don't want you getting salmonella from duck and then suing me. All right, have not been able to move this much until there you go. See, I want to have a setup from bed one day. It's just getting the desk, yeah, keyboard up close enough. Well, you could do that. You could probably mount the monitor up to the ceiling and do it that way. I knew people that used to mount TVs up on the ceiling, which I thought was kind of funny. Okay, I can't move much myself. I love that, Josephine. I hope your condition improves to improve bit by bit. All right. Yes, I can't stand all the smells out there. Yeah, I can't. I breathe like that now, Rick. Definitely not healthy. That's exactly. Well, Jonathan, you've got issues, but you're working on it. Slow and steady, one day at a time. I want to try riding my daughter's bike. Well, don't ride in the rain. Rick, if you wrote the heart attack recipe book, I would sell it on my site, send you 50%. There you go. The heart attack. That's good. Rick's heart attack diet. Can you imagine? It's like the heart attack grill. If you've ever seen the heart attack grill in Las Vegas, they actually made a commercial, a fake infomercial called the heart attack, or was it heart attack diet plan? That's the funny thing they had. Crazy weather. Me too. I think extended exposure maybe get sick. Yeah, that's true. Rick, how do you cook iguana? Well, there's videos of it on my website, on my videos. I will either cook them by boiling. Normally, I'll boil them anyway to get the skin off, and then sometimes I will deep fry them. Deep fried iguana has a crispy skin, but if you do it too much, you'll burn the meat, so it's not good. But it's better if you marinate. If you're going to fry it, marinate the iguana first. And one of the best ways to do it is to boil the iguana first. That expands it out, and then you can marinate your iguana in salt water overnight. And then when you go to fry it, it's going to make a crispy iguana skin. Otherwise, just peel the skin off, throw it to the ducks, and eat the iguana meat. It's almost like fish, somewhere between fish and chicken. Okay. Um, what else do we have here? Okay, 2:30 p.m. here. Oh, okay. You must be close. My dad used Old Spice as well. I love the scent of it. Yeah, some people like it. I never did. My teenage daughter sometimes wears perfumes. Make her smell like a cake. Here wore stuff. But oh, those car things. I hate those stupid car scent things. Oh, that's nasty. My car smells like diesel and rust. So that's fine with me. Not sure if my question got through before. I don't see it show up. I had to step away for a minute. But what do you think of Velveeta? Ugh, that's garbage. I don't understand. Velveeta is looks like some kind of grease. It's got coloring in it. I wouldn't eat that garbage. See, I don't like cheeses that melt easily. I like cheeses that are hard and fermented and have that strong taste. That's what I like. The American cheese I find disgusting. There are two cheeses I hate. One is Swiss and one is American, and I've hated it since I was a kid. It's just something I don't like. Now, when it comes to cheeses I do like, cheddar cheese, the more fermented the better. I also like goat cheese, the feta cheese, which I do occasionally get. And then in terms of other cheeses I like, well, I like Munster, Gouda, um, Parmesan, Parmesan Reggiano. I mean, I even like mozzarella cheese to an extent, but it's just the two that I don't like, Swiss and American. Okay, comments are coming in strong. Let's see. All right. Not sure if my question got through before. Yes, I got that one. Um, Rick has a video about cooking iguana. Yes, I do. The Axe body spray for men makes me want to gag. It's got to have pure poison in it. I'm not sure what that smells like, but all these young guys that I'm around, they have that chemical smell. And I think it'd probably be better if they just smelled like normal because that stuff is terrible. You get in the truck and it's really strong. It makes my eyes water. That's how bad it is. I can't stand perfumes anymore. That's what Lamb says. Yes. I don't want to share where I live. Okay, that's fine. That is so cool. Annabella Happy Carnivore in the UK selling my fridge, freezer, sunglasses. No need in this climate. Well, down here, you're going to need it in Florida. I'm afraid capturing wildlife could cause some drama gossip in the neighborhood. It already does. My neighbors, they think of me as sort of like Herman Munster or the Adams family of the neighborhood, but they do bring me the injured animals, so that's good. Okay. All right. It is very cold. Daddy was a proper Cockney blue cheese. The interesting fact about heart attack burger is that it prevents the eater from heart attack. That's what Polish Mike says. You might be right because I just don't seem to get a heart attack. I'm working on it though. It's coming. Don't worry. One day you're going to see the announcement that Rick had a heart attack and died. And then I'm going to be very happy because then, as they say, I'll be in God's hands. Hate that cheese with the holes in it. That's the Swiss cheese. Swiss cheese smells like feet. Well, I don't know about that. It doesn't smell like my feet. My feet don't smell like that. They actually smell like lard. That's pretty much what all, arm, feet all smells the same. It's just like lard. Okay. Hate that cheese. Okay. Now when I see weird animals, I think, what do they taste like? Yes. Or what if you like to eat it? There you go. I smell like a cow. I like Gruyere and cave aged cheddar. See that Jonathan has good taste in dairy. He likes dairy. He supports dairy just like I do. I think that dairy is good for some people. Miss the smell of cows, beautiful. Okay. What are people's general thoughts on cleanliness, home cleanliness, and personal cleanliness? Well, I try to clean up as much as I can, but I'm not really crazy about it. I sweep up the dirt. I wash things when they get dirty. I wash my dishes. The kitchen I keep as clean as possible, but it's rotten. It has termites in it. So I have to keep cleaning up termite dust every day. The yard, the way I clean it is basically just piling everything into a pile and grinding it up with a lawnmower. I do wash the sidewalks with water. I take a bath every day, at least once a day, sometimes twice a day. I know there's a couple of people out there that don't think you have to take a bath, but obviously they don't work physically and they don't live in Florida. Go outside and dig a ditch and see if you're going to want to come inside without taking a bath. All that sand grinding into your skin, the dirt, it's not, I wash constantly. That's just the way that I am. All right. Okay. What if you, I'm going to make a meat scented body spray, carnivore body spray. Okay. Well, that's good. Me too, Rick. And the taste, and feels so clean. Yes, you're right. Me too, without the sound of bells. I don't use any product on my body apart from hand wash. I use some hyaluronic acid, vitamin C gels, but they're beneficial and clean. Well, that's good, Jonathan. That's important. If it smells like carnivore feet, correction, or like cat feet. I thought if there was no shortage in Wales, maybe when we try. Okay. I'm a neat freak, Kenny Robinson. Well, that's good. Some people are. I'm not. Um, I can do a Cockney accent. I'm out of practice though. Drop H's without meaning to. Well, hey, there's a regional accent everywhere. Even here in Miami, it's all like some kind of Latin American accent. We call it Spanglish. and that was really a Cuban thing. What was that movie? Scarface, say hello to my little friend. That kind of thing. It exists, but nowadays most people just speak Spanish. So to hear English being spoken here is kind of unusual. And Jonathan has a question. Rick, you will become the president tomorrow with nothing in your path. What are the first three things you do? If I become the president, the first thing I would do is level with the people and tell them what a mess we're in. The debt is unsustainable. The Federal Reserve caused this mess. The corporations, I would spill the beans on everything I know. That's the first thing I would do. The second thing I would do, I would tell people, you're going to have to think for yourself. And even though we're going to try to help you whenever we can, we're going to help you even more by getting out of your way. You need to educate yourself. And the third thing I would tell people is if you really want to get things to change, go ahead and work with each other. Now, as for executive orders, I would definitely try to end the Federal Reserve. That would be it. After people were told what was going on, I'd say, you know what, we're going to get rid of the central bank. This thing is going to collapse and we're going to take care of it ourselves. Because the problem is, this world is full of large corporations. You have people that are well connected and they don't have to produce, they don't have to do things the right way because they can do whatever they want. They can do everything wrong and then they just go with their hand out. I need a bailout. And then they get free money from the banking system and they can go there and do stupid things. So you see tremendous waste. You see people unhealthy. Look at the medical system. I was looking, I said, you know what? Let me sign up for the Obamacare with the financial assistance or whatever, because I don't make a lot of money. But when I looked at what they charge, now the cheapest plan I could find was $1,500 a month. A month. So if you're going to get government assistance, that means that $1,500 a month is going to go from the government to these corporations. And then on top of that, they charge you a deductible, a copay, and all this stuff. So what exactly is the point of having this so-called insurance? That's why I said Rick's heart attack diet, you feel great, you're strong, you work, you do whatever you want. And then one day, oh, bam, you fall over. And then what do? Well, again, in our system, you have a corrupt system where you have to pay thousands for a funeral. But if this was like I do with my cats, what happens when your pet dies? Do you go to the pet cemetery? No. What I do, I get my shovel or my bobcat or auger, I dig a hole, I take my dead pet, drop it in the ground, put dirt over it, and that's it. So if we lived in a free world, we wouldn't have to worry about a funeral. When one of our friends or family dies, we just dig a big hole in the ground, lower the body in, put some dirt over it, and then in the future, it's like, well, okay. But because the government owns all property in the United States, you can't really buy it. You have to rent it. They tell you what to do. You want to build on it, you got to get their permission. You can't bury anybody on the land without their express permission. So, it's just kind of a goofy system. But I'll tell you one thing. If I was president, I think a lot of people would be trying to get rid of me because the things that I would do would destroy the system. Because I'm against forcing people to do anything. It's like the carnivore diet. If you want to be a carnivore, great. But you know what? You want to be a vegan? I'll be happy with that. I give people fruit and vegetables. It's not like I'm trying to force people to be on the carnivore diet. What I do, I say, you know what? You eat whatever you want. You want to eat duck food? Go ahead and eat duck food. But don't force it on me. This is the thing. You know, if you have a lifestyle you like, go ahead and live that lifestyle. But please don't force it on me. That's all I say. Okay, so let's see what else we got here. Um, I wear Tiffany's and Co. perfume, Chanel number 5. I used to joke as a kid, they had those Chanel number 5s. I said, I put my TV on channel 5, but all I get is static. Must not be good. All right. Yeah. What's your thoughts on Bitcoin? I used to love Bitcoin. I used it back in like 2010, 2011 to buy stuff from overseas. The last time I used Bitcoin was in 2012 when I lost 20 of them doing a transfer. We had a power surge. And while I was trying to update the blockchain, it went, that was it. So $200 went up in smoke. And then I saw the cost of Bitcoin going up and up and up. And then I realized that Wall Street was using it for money laundering. And I said, nope, I don't want to deal with this anymore. It's just like I used to be in the stock market until 2008. When the Federal Reserve came up with quantitative easing, I got out because I said, this is it. And I haven't been in there. I've lost out. Yes, I've lost out tremendously, but I can't support a system that's just wrong. I mean, it's wrong. Okay, what else do we have? I thought it was public land. Well, government public land means nobody owns it. Question from Jonathan. You get chased by 100 ducks or one duck the size of 100. Which do you ensue battle with? Well, I wouldn't want to have 100 ducks taking me on. I think I would go with the one big duck because I have a better chance of winning the fight. If I had 100 ducks attacking me, I don't think I would do so well. I'd be attacked with the duck claws, the duck beaks. I'd probably lose it. It'd be like in a fire ant pile. I'd go with the big one because at least if I have my crossbow, I have a pretty good chance of hitting him in the head. And can you imagine when you knock out a duck the size of 100 ducks? It's going to be like having a cow, but in a bird form. Oh, the delicious meat. Mmm. You're making me hungry. I'm already getting hungry, and it's just past breakfast time. My goodness. Duck. I got a notice about the insurance recently, but thought I had a catch. Yeah, everything has a catch. That's great. Not many Cockneys left in London. Well, I guess things have changed. My mom used to, okay, carnivore muscle, haha, yeah. Funerals are so annoying. You have to meet all these people who only see you at funerals. Exactly. Okay. Adrian, what's your shoe size? My shoe size is 15. So I wear a size 15. Although sometimes I wear 16 because, that's, it's bigger. 14 is generally too small. All right. Dad brought us, okay, they're having some conversation there. Obviously, 100 small ducks. Yeah, agreed. One big duck. I go for the big duck. I like the challenge because the reward is going to be delicious. Imagine all that duck meat. Okay, I have not attended the last several funerals. When ducks bit, they twist your skin. Yeah, ouch, blood. Well, I've never had ducks get blood out of me, but they like to do that little twist. But that's when I grab their head. You see, that's the good thing. When a duck bites me, I got complete control of it because it's over there biting my arm or leg. I got it by the head. And then I have my burlap bag. So once I got the duck, they start. The problem is when you get them by the head, they're going to try to twist around. They'll break their own neck. That's one of the bad things about ducks. So what I do, I quickly, I grab their head, try to discourage them, and I grab them by the wings as quick as I can. And then that way I got full control. The other thing you can do is grab them by the tail and let them try to run away. And they'll flap their wings like they want to get away. Sometimes you can hold them in the air with the tail and they're flapping away. I always joked, I said, maybe I'll get a duck big enough where it'll take off with me. But then after a while they tire out and then they're easy to manage because once they flap their wings for about 30 seconds to a minute, that's it. That's all they can get out of them. And then they just kind of slow down. And then you can grab them and put them in the bag, take them home, and, you know, get ready to feed him. Mr. Ducky or Mrs. Ducky is going to enjoy some delicious tropical fruit and breads and all the other things that are bad for them because you want to fatten them up and make them nice and tender. And the other thing, too, when you get them really fat, they don't fly anymore. They get too fat to fly, and then they're kind of docile. So that works out really well. Okay, 20 lost Bitcoin. Yeah, don't remind me. I lost 20 Bitcoins. I still have the hard drive. I've tried to. It's the thing is that in the transfer to the blockchain, it got interrupted by a power surge, and I learned my lesson. Your connection goes down, and what am I going to do? So I don't mess with Bitcoin anymore. Now I would like to start a cryptocurrency that's based on meat or energy. If I could get enough people together, let's say that I'm in the business of raising cattle, I could actually pay people for labor or materials using a token that would be redeemable for, let's say, a pound of meat or a given quantity of eggs. I could go for that because that would be a commodity backed cryptocurrency. And I think peer to peer cryptocurrency is a good thing. And the problem with Bitcoin, it's centralized now. You have these nodes and it's no longer in the hands of the people. So I stay away from it. Okay, I'm losing foot size on carnivore. Well, yeah, because you're losing extra fat and inflammation. Typically, the length won't change, but the thickness will. Okay. Too great, whatever. What's a Tibetan sky funeral? I think that's where they feed somebody to birds. The vultures come and eat them and take they eat the body and that's it. So sky burial. I like both chicken and duck eggs, but duck eggs are extra lush. Yes, they are. That's your email, Juliet. Okay. Once a week, my dad was related to some amazing criminals. I haven't heard the stories. I can imagine a little girl seeing Rick take down a duck and cry. Well, the thing is, I've had people look at me grabbing the duck, but the duck is still alive, and I'll grab it. I'll hold it up to the kids. You want to pet it? And usually they go no because the ducky's like trying to bite or attack or whatever. But Ducky doesn't have to stress too long because once he's here at my place, he's over there in the side yard it's fenced in top and bottom. He's safe from all the raccoons and everything, and he's getting fed all that duck food and getting nice and plump. And he gets visits from females. It's like a conjugal visit for a ducky. So he's actually doing better here than he ever was at the canal. He doesn't have to worry about being ripped open by a raccoon. It's just one day he's going to stick his head through the duck feeder, and that's going to be lights out. And then after that, there's going to be boiling water and delicious fried duck. I love duck. Okay, I'm getting a little bit hungry for duck. Don't tempt me. I may go to the canal. Okay, Jonathan. All right. If I eat raw eggs, I prefer yolks only, as the egg clear seems to. Yeah, the egg whites do have some things in it that can cause people problems. When it's blended together and cooked, it's fine. The monks hack you into pieces and feed you the birds. See, that's what it is. The vultures are over there taking it away. They don't have to bury anybody. All right. Ah, look, Thomas is here. Hello, Rick. Hello, Target Prime Rib. There we go. It's a duck utopia for your ducks. Yes. Anyone ever eaten goose eggs? Yes, I've had goose eggs. They're like duck eggs but bigger. Question: quick tips: how to make carnivore dirt cheap? Oh, well, I mean, you can catch your own meat, or you can get the stuff that's marked down at the store. That's how I do it. That's the only way that I can do it because I just don't have a lot of money. Also, death sentence for some of them for the crime of tasting good. Well, you know, the friendly ones become pets, the mean ones become dinner. Rick's got an appointment by the canal. Well, I love to go along the canal, and coincidentally, that's where the bicycle path is. So when I'm riding over to Fresco y Mas or down to Harbor Freight, I go along the canal. I actually have gotten very much into biking. I don't think I've been on a bicycle. The last time was probably 2008 or so. When I moved in with my parents, I stopped riding bike. Um, 2010 maybe. I think 2010 was the last time I rode a bike. And then 2023, when my truck crapped out on me, I went back to the bike and I had no problems. So that was actually kind of interesting. I can ride bike for 20 miles. And I go the whole time without drinking any water, even in the summer. It's just like now when I do my live streams. I don't drink water. It's pretty rare that I do. At nighttime, I do because I'm having my dinner, but I already had my breakfast. I don't really need a lot of water. I think that's part of the carnivore lifestyle. All right, let's see. Justin Davis. I ate a raw meat, dairy, and eggs diet for 2 years. The whole bacteria thing is basically a myth, but I don't recommend the diet. Raw food is not healthier than cooked. Well, that's good to know. I think us humans can survive just fine on a cooked diet. I mean, I'm still here. Maybe I could have been healthier. I don't know. But animals, I think that your immune system has to adapt somewhat to be able to eat the raw meat. And with our modern food system, it's probably not safe, especially even game meats. They often carry parasites and bacteria. Your body would have to constantly fight that. I think we gain an advantage from cooking our foods. And because we are human and we can eat a variety of meats and even some plant based foods if that's what you need, I think a lot of times your body will tell you that you need it. It's like sometimes if I'm eating a lot of store bought pork and chicken, I will get a craving for sauerkraut and I'll have that. And that is a plant based food. But if I don't take the craving, sometimes I don't feel as good. So I think a lot of times, once you've gotten all the processed crap out of your system and you're not being, your taste buds aren't being teased by chemicals, you probably have a good instinct and you know what you need to eat. It's like a lot of times I have an instinct about what needs to be fixed. I'm driving my car, I feel something funny, I go, oh, I think this is going bad. And sure enough, within days, it goes bad. I think our body's the same way. We can feel when we have problems. And I think that's one of the things people try to medicate headaches and aches and pains and all that. And they don't realize that that's their body sending them signals. You know, if you got something that's hurting, you probably don't want to strain it because it's ready to break. And it's like if you have something mechanical making a noise or wobbling, that's something that's ready to break. And I think that's a lot of what we just don't do. All right, let's see. Explain your dad left the country. How do you come to the conclusion that raw isn't healthier? That's a good question for them. Things were good. Did not feel improvement over time. Well, that's a good sign. See, the way that you feel does make a difference. There was a woman out for my dad's arrest because he left the army early to move to Australia. So you weren't too wrong. Interesting. So, you know, I think a lot of times people ignore the signs that their body has and they end up getting injured. I know people that are very, I don't know if you call it spasmodic or they tend to be impulsive. And when things aren't going their way, they figure that just putting a little extra effort into it, a little force. And I hate working with people like that because they break everything. They're trying to work on a piece of equipment, and the part won't come off. They break out the hammer and the crowbar and they start prying on it. And I think a lot of times when people don't feel good, they'll just say, oh, I'm going to work my way through it. They go to the gym, they work really hard, and then they injure. Something gets torn or injured. Then they have to suffer for months after that. Whereas me, if I go to lift something up and it's too heavy, as soon as I feel like, this is too much for me, I let it go. I'll put it back down. Now, people see me lifting heavy furniture and file cabinets and all this stuff, and they think I'm going to hurt myself. But I try to tell them, no, because I can feel it. My body has the ability of determining whether something is too much. And I think a lot of times people ignore that. It's like eating. I don't really get full. I could eat and eat and eat meat until I can't swallow anymore. And then I have trouble breathing because the whole esophagus is full of food. Then I have to kind of spit up what's in there to be able to breathe. But I know from experience that don't eat more than 4 pounds of meat in one sitting, or you will get clogged up. And also, as I eat, I can feel it goes down slower and slower. And you know what I do? I stop. I just don't keep forcing it. Now, if somebody gives me duck food, that's an easy one because I don't like it. They give me, you go to a restaurant, they give you a basket of bread, and I look at the bread, I'm like, oh, free duck food, you know? And a lot of times, if they say they're going to throw it away, oh, can I take it with me? That way I can feed it to the ducks when I leave. In fact, we went to one steakhouse years ago. I don't remember if it was Outback Steakhouse or what it was, but I went ahead and they had some bread in a basket and the other guys were eating it. Well, there was some left over. Oh, do you want to take it? I said, yeah, I'll take it. And as soon as we went outside the restaurant, there were big fat ducks wagging their tails, looking at me, going, and I just started feeding them. And then the one guy that I knew I was working with, he says, well, now I see why you call it duck food. I said, yeah, I call it duck food. The first office I had when I had my first business, it was at a place called Koger Center, which doesn't exist anymore. Like everything else in Miami, it's overpriced apartments and condos. But back then it was office buildings and they had a lake. And always at the lake, whenever there was duck food, when there was leftovers, pizza, bread, whatever, pasta, I'd go over to the lake and give it to the ducks. And they would always come to me. Well, one time the management was over there fussing. I think it was called Koala Bear Realty or something. Well, you can't feed the ducks. I said, well, why not? Because they're nuisance. We have to get rid of them. I said, I tell you what, if I take all the ducks out of here, will that be good? Oh, you'll do that for it? Absolutely. So I came back the next day with a bunch of animal cages and a bunch of duck food, and I started feeding the ducks. It was on a Saturday, and every one I threw a net over all those ducks. I grabbed them, I stuffed them in the cages. I took them with me to my house. They came back, there were no ducks at the lake. So the lady in the management office, She came to my office and she says, "Wow, I see you got rid of the ducks." I said, "Yes." And she was laughing because they saw on the camera they had, says, "Yeah, you took them all out of here." I said, "I took them all out just like I promised. I was not," because they were mad at me because I'm feeding the ducks and there's poop everywhere. But I took all the ducks out of there and that was it. Of course, the ducks came back because the Trump golf course, which at the time was called Doral, was across the street and they have ducks over there too. So the ducks did come back, but I stopped feeding the ducks when I was over there. But that turned out to be a nice little flock because they became my ducks. Now, of course, they started breeding quite rapidly. And, you know, I think I had taken 30 ducks out of there. And then next thing you know, I have like 60 ducks and 100 ducks. And my neighbors are having a fit. So I took care of the problem. And within a month, the problem was solved. It was down to 25 ducks because I relocated the ducks from the neighborhood to my deep freeze. And I had delicious duck for months after that. So it was really, really good. All right, let's see. Yeah, oh, Peter's back. It says, okay, DS111, Rick eats like a duck. Yes, I do eat like a duck. Quack Jr. is here. I see Peter's back. That's great. I guess Mitch's stream must have ended. I'm sorry that I interfere with him, but let me tell you something. He has a live stream every single day. I have it once a week, just once a week. That's it. So I do it Saturday morning when I have time off. I figured I want to spend my time off with my friends, and you're all my friends, in my opinion. At least, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Let's just say friends until proven otherwise. We'll say that. Okay. The guy who fell off his balcony and died. I guess that's an Agenus guy. It sums it up for me. Life is short. You got to just live with balance and not to be obsessed with nutrition. I agree 100%. That's the fundamental principle of Rick's heart attack diet. Kenny Robertson. I wonder if carnivore diet will help my impulsivity. Unfortunately, I have addictive personality. Well, you're going to have to be a long-term carnivore. I think you're going to have to be a carnivore for several years because if you've been eating duck food, you're still a duck. And even if a duck eats meat, they're still going to go back to the duck food. You may have to be several years. My rule of long-term carnivore is once you hit 5 years, you're a long-term carnivore. That's just an arbitrary rule that I made up, but it might be something to think about. Welcome back. Okay. I ate over 1 kilogram of chuck steak with butter in it. Nice. But I was very hungry. I also lost, see, you're losing pounds. You're eating all those so called calories and you're losing weight because your body gets what it needs. Papa Carnivore, yes. I remember talking too much at a small gathering, probably because of spiked blood sugar, because of what we were all eating and drinking. That could be it, you know. And I noticed like it's when people drink alcohol, they start to become a bit gabby. So it's possible that that glucose increase may cause that. Okay. There was some questions about his death, whether it was an accident or not. That does happen. Happens with a lot of these energy scammers too. Raw has water soluble vitamins lost when cooking. It probably does. But then again, you know, if you feel bad about that, you could add some natural plant foods to make up for it. That's what you want to do. And raw liver, I think raw liver would take advantage of all that. And if you freeze it, I mean, I believe like it's when you make sushi, if you freeze your meat first, you could knock out all the macro parasites. I don't know. I don't think it does anything to the bacteria, but I guess your stomach acid would take care of that. It's your choice if that's what you want to do. Okay, let's see. Um, he walks with me. How are you getting around until you get the replacement engine for your vehicle? Are you bicycling? Only bicycling right now? Well, no, I have my van. My van has a faulty transmission. I can use the van for short trips and for the jobs that I do in most cases. But for the real short trips, like going to the store and stuff, I use a bicycle because when I get in traffic, my transmission will overheat and then it'll slip and forward and it won't go into reverse. What it is it has an internal leak. I think it's in the front clutch assembly. I need to remove the transmission and rebuild it. Yes, I rebuild my own automatic transmissions. I've always done that since the 1990s. And actually, the late 80s, the first time I did one in my Charger. But yes, I have the van. I can use the van for most of the longer trips. But on the short trips, I am using the bicycle, especially at the time when there's rush hour and high traffic. When I work with some of the friends that I work with, a lot of times I ride with them because, again, we have a bunch of traffic. So the way it works is if I'm going to drive somewhere and there's no traffic, I'll use the van, I'll be fine. If I have to sit in traffic, and I have to also shift into neutral because otherwise the torque converter is going to build up heat and it makes a leak worse. So when I go to a light, I flip it into neutral and I let it sit there at idle. And then when I go to start up again, back into drive. And if the transmission starts to heat up, you'll have to manually downshift. And then you'll have to, you rev it up, you let up on the accelerator, and then shift up into the next gear. So you have to kind of treat it like a manual transmission. But for the short trips, like to Presidente, to Aldi, those are trips of less than 5 miles each way. That's all done on the bicycle, which is fine. And I'm actually, for the Presidente, which is only a couple miles away, it's actually quicker because I don't have to go on the road. I can take the canal path and it's a shortcut. So it's actually working out pretty well. Okay, the engine, I'm waiting for my friend. I don't know when I'm going to get it. Hopefully, I'll get it soon. Time to go hunt for me in the stores. My go-tos are Costco, Aldi, and Wild Fork. We have those here too, Polish Mike. Wild Fork is kind of funny because they have chickens running around the parking lot. The last time I went to Wild Fork, I got some free chicken, and the one guy there says, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm getting some chicken. These are free range chickens." He's looking at me funny, like, "Oh, chicken." But yeah, I even talked to them at the Wild Fork. They're glad that I take the chickens because the chickens are a tremendous mess. They're always digging holes, pooping everywhere. I've never really had anybody mad at me for taking the wild chickens out of the parking lot. Even at the Walmart, they were the guy in the parking lot was trying to help me get the chickens. I was over there. They're quick. And he had the line of shopping carts and he made a block. And then I had my bag and I stuffed like 3 chickens in that bag. So I was doing pretty good. I put them right in the van, stick them in the van and that's it. So yeah, they were tasty too. Chickens are tasty. All right. So we got that would be nice. I'm not a big talker. And then Peter Papa Carnivore says, I'm your friend Quack Senior. There you go. Well, yeah, we're all quacks here in Florida. This is quacker time. Thank you for the encouragement. I no longer gambling. Gambling doesn't make sense. I don't understand that. Okay. All this talk. A lot of comments. Very, very good. All right. Thank you for the live stream. That's what Annabella says. Yes, watching you make happen. Okay, good. I'm glad you like it. I step in after OGC's live. Yes, Old Guy Carnivore. Mitch is great. He'll be on live again later. That's one of the reasons I picked Saturday because a lot of times he gets a lot of people in the morning session and not in the afternoon session. So if you could check out mine and check out his, hopefully I'll watch his or maybe I'll be in it because he does open it up to a lot of us. Although I guess YouTube demonetizes him. I don't know why. Hopefully it's not because of me. Okay. You can be a professor at the local university regarding living off the land. Well, I was teaching at Miami-Dade College. I taught electronics and computer repair and networking and all that for a while until they got rid of that. I lost 8 kilograms. Question: best way to cook the duck? Well, regular duck, you can roast it, but Muscovy duck is very lean. Even if you fatten it up with tropical fruit, the best way to cook it is to cut it up and fry it. You can, if you get a big container and plenty of lard or tallow, you can do it the turkey fryer way, but I don't have that much lard or tallow. So I normally do it in the kitchen the same way I cook heart attack turkey. You can see my video on it. I cut the duck into legs, wings, breasts, the quarters, and then the legs and wings, definitely fry them. The skin is crispy. Oh, it's so good. Think of it this way: it's like having steak with duck skin. Oh, it's so good. You just tasty. The breasts, you can roast them, but you're going to have to marinate it first. You can marinate it in salt water, but the best way is to use wild sour oranges. You can marinate it in that. I've even marinated in the water that's made from sauerkraut, which is kind of salty and fermenty, and that helps soften the meat a little bit. And then you can roast it, or if you want, just deep fry it. Just take the breast and deep fry it. You don't have to deep fry it that long. It's so good. It's like having a delicious steak. I'm telling you, people don't know the secret. If they knew how good duck was, there'd be no ducks left in the neighborhood. Now, a lot of times people try to roast the duck, but it gets too tough. I know people that have tried to cook Muscovy duck and they ended up with something that looked like a shoe and tasted like one. So, and after that, they wouldn't eat it anymore. But again, if you know how to do it, it's really, really tasty. Okay, what else have we got here? Okay, let's see. Got some comments here. All this talk of hunting has got me in the mood for a hunt. I see a couple of snails outside. Well, there is escargot, but if you're going to cook escargot, which I have done, you have to clean the snails. So you're going to have to catch them and you have to feed them lettuce or other clean material that'll get the garbage out of their system. Then you want to make sure you boil them well because some of them do carry lung parasites. So you don't want to take a chance with that. So if you're going to look up, you can see how to prepare escargot. Again, that can be a little bit risky, but then again, I do have some French ancestry and I do love a good escargot. So if that's what you want to do, hey, that's always a possibility. Okay. By the way, pigeons are also edible. Okay, DS111 says you should fix one of the chargers first. Turn it into a construction car like I've done with one of my Volvos. Well, my chargers are pretty rusty. I have a couple that are in pretty good shape, but I wouldn't want to modify it. I would do pretty much a restoration. What I would do eventually, I was thinking about making a monster truck and then putting like charger body panels on it just as a curiosity. If I had my way, I'd get one of those old military transport things like, the old World War II tanks like they used to have back in the 1980s and they put a truck body on it. I'd fix something like that and put it in front of my house, put my address on it, and then that way people would know that this guy is really crazy. Maybe start it up and run it around once in a while. Okay. Once a week, man. Yes. Should be easy to chase down. Snail. All right. Watch out for really especially rascally rabbits when you go hunting. Yeah, you don't want that. Rabbit season, duck season, wabbit season. Hi, Rick. Have you ever worked a regular 9 to 5 or you're always a freelancer? I never worked 9 to 5. My first job was actually at a plant nursery, which was down the street. Now it's a McMansion. But what I was doing, I was selling plants to customers, maintaining the nursery. Eventually, I started doing deliveries and plantings. Within 2 weeks of working there, they had me in the truck and I was using the Bobcat. That was, I don't know if it was really 9 to 5, but I guess that was the closest thing I had to a regular job. When I worked at the college, they paid me by courses. So I had some courses that start at 8 in the morning. I had some courses that start at 8 at night. And I'd work anywhere till as late as 10:50 at night, depending on what it was. My first career was a business that I started with two friends in 1995. We were doing networking and IT. That was a lot of inside work. So we did work a lot of offices in that period. I would get up usually around 6 to 7, and then I'd either go straight from my home to the customer or we'd go to our office, which was located in that office park, and then go from there. And then I would work, sometimes I'd work late into the night because a lot of times we would work during the day, but we'd wait until the company was closed at 4 or 5 and then rewire the network. There were times when I would start work at 5 o'clock and work all through the night until the morning. And then when the job was done, then the customer came in, everything was fine, then I'd sleep. So I had kind of an irregular schedule sometimes. But most of the time, I get my 8 hours of sleep at night. But yeah, freelance is pretty much what I've always done, especially when my parents became sick in like 2009 and after. I had to take care of them, so it was not possible for me to work. Um, I worked at the college until 2013, and I've done handyman work ever since then, cleanups and handyman and auto repairs. You'll always find somebody's car or truck sitting in my yard, or maybe their piece of equipment sitting in the side yard to be fixed. Everything from hydraulic repairs to head gaskets to electrical. And I still do some computer repairs. I've had people bring me in desktops and laptops and even tablets and phones that I've had to get parts for and repair. I do audio repairs as well, a lot of vintage stereo gear people bring to me to fix. So, yeah, it's a little of everything, but that's what it is. Okay. What else do we have here? Let's see. Rick used to be a teacher. Yes, I was. You could probably look me up at Miami-Dade College. They used to have a Rate Your Professor website. I was always very, very highly rated. I was one of the good guys, let's say. All right. Um, have you ever considered going back to teaching college or high school? Well, I couldn't go back to college because now you have so many people that have useless degrees. The bachelor's degree that I have is not enough to teach at the college. I have to get a master's degree, which means 2 more years of wasted time in school. I told them back then that if they gave me a scholarship, I'd continue. But I have a rule. I'm not going to go to college unless somebody else pays for it. Because the way I figure it is this: if I was worth having, they would pay for my college. But if they're not going to pay for my college and I have to pay for it myself, now I'm making an investment in the odd hope that someone's going to hire me. And why would I do that? Why would I waste 2 years of my life and thousands of dollars for something that is not guaranteed? It just seems like a silly gamble. Okay. Um, you're a terrific and very patient teacher, Rick. Yes, I am. Absolutely. Let's see. Do you ever run into a crocodile that looks tasty? Every reptile looks tasty to me. I hate to say it. And there are crocodiles here near the ocean. Yes, Rick has talked about it several times. That's right. You should, Papa Carnivore, you should do live streams. Well, one day he'll do videos. We'll see. Only crows and foxes in my area. Not sure if they're good eating. I don't eat carnivores. That's one of my rule. Probably too much heavy metals. Probably not something you want to eat. I'm on live streams. Yeah, Peter's on a lot of live streams. He'll probably be on later on the Old Man Carnivore Mitch's channel. I've watched you on those. You do your own. I'll be live with Carrie. you know, Carrie Homestead, how I like him and his channel, but he's a little strange lately. He just doesn't seem to be engaging with us like he used to. But hey, I think what happens with his channel, he's got so many people watching it. He tends to have a time period where he goes for certain people, and that's like a trend. So you run with the trend while you can. And then over time, he just sort of fades away, and that's it. So, whatever, you know, I like the guy. I just sometimes I wonder about his whole, um, I mean, healing humanity. I mean, come on, I don't like that much. That whole documentary thing. Yeah, I can understand the reason behind it, but I really don't think that it's that necessary. That's just my point. I mean, go ahead and do it. He's taken advantage of it. He's marketing from it. It's getting more attention to his YouTube channel. I'm sure he's making money off of it. I mean, he's not like me. He doesn't do it for free. I don't charge anything. I've never made any money from YouTube. This is time that I donate to help other people just to encourage them. That's all it is. But hey, if you can get on his channel, go for it. Take advantage of it while you can, because eventually they'll move on to somebody else, the latest trend. But that's okay. All right. Let's see. Not a fan of duck. Has a weird taste. Well, I love duck. Supermarket duck is different to wild. It is, but I think people prefer supermarket. So if you don't like supermarket, you probably won't like wild duck. Yes, but I only have one girlfriend. Hey, that's one more than I have. There's a Chinese meat store here in the neighborhood. Oh, and they hang the pluck whole ducks, yes, from the window. They used to do that at the Chinese restaurant here. I used to make fun of it. I said, "Oh, where'd they get that from? The canal?" And we'd laugh. Okay, I get them back on track. Nice shirt, Rick. Thank you. This shirt is so old. It's one of the ones that my mom actually bought for me that was on sale back in the 1990s. And I found it when I was going through my old stuff. So I wear it. I figured it's bright. It kind of shows up. I look like a used car salesman or something. Oh, I have a runner duck. She's just a pet. She's about 5 years old. They're cute. The long neck. They're kind of cute. Hey, Thomas. Howdy, Josephine. I'm a one woman man. Very loyal. Good for you. Good for you. Have you ever eaten frog legs? Yes, I've been frogging more than once. I love frog legs. They're delicious. Deep fried in pure lard or tallow. Delicious. Okay. That's a good thing. Do you try to wear natural fibers? Yes. This is actually cotton. If you look at the label, it's cotton. And underneath all the clothes that I wear, you'll find these natural hemp or cotton undershirts. That's something I always have worn. It's something I believe in. Okay, I love Chinese tea, smoked duck. I never heard of that. Delicious. Nothing like real Chinese food. Okay, got some comments here. Is your girlfriend still sticking with carnivore? Blah, blah, blah. She eats pretty clean. Some sweets. Well, yeah, Peter has a weakness for sweets. I don't. Of course, I don't have a girlfriend either. You know, we always joke. They said, "Well, Rick, if you had a girlfriend, she would look like Sean Baker or Anthony Chafee." And I remember one time Sean Baker made cooking with Frangie video. I was laughing when I saw it. Was so funny. I said, "Yeah, you know, Rick's girlfriend would be like an Amazon girl, be some tall thing that could crunch you with one hand." So yeah, that would be an issue, and there wouldn't be any sweets. There wouldn't be any perfume. It would be just meat and probably a couple of more cats. And you know, the girlfriend's like, "Hey, let's go to the canal for a romantic evening," and that would involve harvesting iguanas and ducks. So you could only imagine what that would be like. Okay, let's see. What else do we have here? Oh yeah, 9 to 5 jobs, freelance. Yeah, I prefer freelance. I don't mind the 9 to 5. It's just they put you on things that really aren't that productive. And sometimes I feel bored when you're sitting there. You're getting paid by the hour. A lot of times, you can't really do anything. Okay, doesn't that tempt you? Okay, she's not carnivore. Blah blah blah. I don't. Oh, I see something. I don't do homestead. How? Too deliquish. Well, I don't know. Homestead How is not for everybody. I do it occasionally, but I have to admit, I'll pop onto the chat. I'll say hi to a few people, and then after a while, I'm invisible. Nobody responds to my comments. I leave. I go somewhere else. There's too many other people out there that are doing live streams and videos, and I tend to gravitate towards the new carnivores. You'll notice that whenever a new carnivore channel comes up, I've been one of the first interviews for a lot of the new channels because I think people like me. I'm the kind of person they always joke. They say, well, it's like Ali Wells says, just put you on, ask a couple of questions and sit back and let the guy talk. And that's the way it is. I can talk for a very long time, as you can see. Well, other than the interruption, it's been at least a couple of hours and I'm still blabbing away. I haven't had any water or food or anything. I just keep going and going. That's just the way us carnivores are. We're running on body fat. We don't run out of energy. We don't need a coffee. Now, again, I'm not saying the coffee's bad because we know that, like on Mitch's channel, it's morning with coffee with Mitch. So, hey, coffee lovers, and that's great. You enjoy your coffee, enjoy your coffee. I don't have a problem with it. But if you go to my channel, you're going to see this is Rick's morning drink. You can see it's still cold. It's ice water. The ice is melted, but this is pretty much all I drink. So I always tell everybody, don't criticize the people that are partially carnivore. If you eat 70% or more meat, you're carnivore. But if you want to have coffee with your carnivore, or you want to have some fruits or vegetables with your carnivore, you're still a carnivore if you eat 70% meat. Some people say 70% animal products, but my definition is 70% meat. That includes beef, lamb, chicken, turkey, whatever. If it's the flesh of an animal, that's meat. Then you can add eggs and dairy. That's my definition of carnivore. Any fruit that I eat is within that other percentage. And that may only be 5%, and that's only once in a while. I don't think I've put a piece of fruit in my mouth in 6 months. But in the summertime, sometimes when meat is expensive, you may have to eat fruit. And what's better, starving or eating fruit from your yard? I think eating fruit from your yard is better than starving. So that's what I do. Anyway, all right. Let's see. Okay, we're talking about Homestead How. She's eating a chocolate bar. I really like Carrie, but his channel isn't for everyone, of course. To each or his own. Yeah, exactly. Carrie has helped me a ton. See, Peter's gotten a lot of encouragement. I think for the new carnivores, that's why we have Carrie's channel, because he can go out there and show how fat he was before and all the medicines he took. and how good he feels. And he does have documented health issues. I think it was arthritis and IBS and all this other stuff. So he can show you that he cured a lot of these things on the carnivore diet. Whereas somebody like me, I don't have any of that. I don't even have medical records as far as I know. I mean, the last time I went to a doctor was 96. So I can't really encourage anybody because I'm a quack. You look at me, it's like Rick's a quack. He hasn't been to the doctor. He's probably going to die tomorrow of a heart attack. He looks unhealthy, blah, 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 you know. But it's what can I say? There's a channel for everybody, and that's why we have Carrie Homestead How. Okay, let's see. Um some influencers do have annoying clickbaits. Yes, you will never find that on my channel ever because I am not an influencer. I'm a de-influencer. You go to the influencers to get influence to do things, you go to me to be de-influenced and to go your own way. When you're on Rick's heart attack diet, you're the counterculture. Even if carnivore becomes popular, Rick's heart attack diet will never become popular because if you look around, you'll see in the Rick universe or Rickiverse or whatever these people call it, this is not normal. There's nothing normal here. How many other channels do you see? There's no virtual background. Look at what's around here. You see a very old room with cheap paneling and neon lights and Mopar related stuff. You'll find a rotary phone handy, old microphone. Everything here is old. Wired keyboard. There's nothing here that is found on any other channel. There is only one Rick. There's only one Charger Mopar. You will never find another channel like this ever. And I think that's the reason why people come here and they watch my channel because if you want to get the flashy, and the influencer thing, it had its time. And I think I'm a good predictor of trends. I think that as time goes on, the YouTube trend is going to be to actually getting to know real people. Remember, when YouTube started, it was a dating site. When I first found out about YouTube, it was a way of meeting people and sharing videos, and that's kind of what I remember it as. So for us, we're doing this the old fashioned way, and we want to meet people, real people. And again, if you want the more flashy stuff, they have those channels out there and you can see here, let's see. Peter says, I can't be near chocolate. Yeah, we know he has a chocolate weakness. And what else? Let's see. Hmm. That thing jumps around. That's the only bad thing about the YouTube chat. It doesn't go sequence. I wish I could get the OBS to work, but I got to get another stupid computer. Okay. You can't be chocolate. Okay. It's a nice shirt. Well, thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you like this old shirt. I really don't like veggies. Yeah, Peter hates vegetables. Kenny Robinson, I love cookies. I can hate cookies. That was a funny video. Especially love to eat the chocolate. Hey, Rick, do you ever do any fishing? Yes, I do. I used to do a lot of fishing when I lived in the Keys. Haven't been fishing in a while, but I will once I get my truck running again. Any talk of frog legs makes me think of the original Muppet movie. Yeah, Kermit. He doesn't like the idea of frog legs. The Swedish Chef is another funny one. That's what happens if you stay clean for every month, Annabella. That's right. Um, I drink too occasionally. Most of the time, I drink tea occasionally. Okay. I always think if someone offered me 100 chocolate, wow, a lot. Okay. I had a mango at Christmas. It had no bad effects from it. I don't plan on eating it. And again, occasional fruit isn't going to hurt you at all. How's the weather today in Miami? It's hot. It's cloudy. I think it's in the upper 70s. Rick, do you like the 1970 Super Bee? Yes, I remember the Super Bee. It has the split bumper. It's kind of like triangles pointed in. I thought that was a mean looking car. That was a great car in its day. Do you drink tap water? I do, but I mostly drink rainwater. I drink tap water when I run out of rainwater. Let's see. Okay. Rick, you are so real. It's enchanting. Well, what you got is what you got. Rick, you encourage us all because you've been carnivore for so long. You don't need to see a doctor because you're so healthy. Well, I'm glad you think that way. That's good. Um, let's see. That's what I love about your channel, Kenny Robertson. It's the old home feel. Yes. Do you still have your charger? What year is it? Yes, I still have my chargers. They are 1969 and 1970. I haven't been showing them, but I will one of these days. Once I get See, I have a couple of them here. I have a couple of them in the other place, and they're in storage. So one of these days I will get them out. When I move, I want to consolidate everything into a garage. I have I have several. A couple of them are total rust buckets, but the rest of them are repairable. I have a rust bucket here that I'm going to be cutting up in pieces, which I'll rebuild in the future. But hey, what can you do? All right, let's see. I've listened to Dave Mack interviews while I'm doing. Yeah, Dave Mack again. I was his first interview. He is the ultimate carnivore catalog resource. If you want to see any of us carnivores out there share a story, you hit his channel. He's gone into extreme effort to make sure that we're all interviewed, and that's a good thing. So I need to make a database one of these days, and eventually in the future, when I have a stable connection and I have a decent computer, I'm going to do interviews as well because I'm going to ask. I'm going to try to get with some of these more prominent carnivores. I'm sure a lot of them will be willing to be interviewed, and I think it's going to be a great experience. So, but that comes later. Okay, let's see. Wired keyboard, what a quack. Yes, everything I own is wired. This is another thing that I've mentioned. I do not have any wireless connections, although I do have one Wi-Fi adapter in the living room that I can use with the phone or tablet. But at night, around midnight, the timer turns off. All the technology in the house turns off at midnight. That's it. So I sleep in a room. There's no Wi-Fi anywhere, and this is all like mesh and plaster, and I have aluminum screens, so the Wi-Fi signal from the neighborhood is almost non-existent. So I do like getting away from that. I listen to it. Okay. Most of the carnivore channels have memberships now. If I make a comment, it shows members and non-members. It could get expensive to join. I'm never going to do that. I am never going to do memberships. I think that is stupid. I may eventually do some kind of a donation site where people can donate items or cash or whatever they want, but I am not going to do that at all. Period. Okay. YouTube was a dating site. Yes, look up the history of YouTube and you'll see. When I first started YouTube, it had its own private messaging system. They took that out, but it was there. LOL. Jonathan says, I can help with OBS. Yes, once I get a decent computer, I'm going to take you up on that. I hate to spend your time, though, but you're a great guy. I'll be glad to get your information. Okay. Peter, you have to live here. I live alone in chocolate. Okay, I thought a chocolate store. Oh boy. I'm a member of two carnivore channels, Ogai Carnivore and Homestead How. Yes. Hope you do some more cooking tutorials. Yeah, I'm going to have to do that. I'm going to get more into that. In fact, I'm thinking about doing some of the carnivore lookalike foods. Although the hardcore carnivores are going to criticize me, I don't care. At this point, I think it's more important that we get people involved because a lot of people love to cook and they get bored with the meat diet. Eventually, they will be carnivores if they really get into it, but there's nothing wrong with being creative in the kitchen. How do you collect? Okay, how do you collect rainwater? I have a stainless steel container that's outside. It's like a big funnel, and then there's a hose. It goes through the side of the roof. There's a copper line, and it goes into the kitchen. So believe it or not, it goes straight into the refrigerator. There's actually a hole in the back of the refrigerator, stainless steel container. So when I use water from the refrigerator, it's coming from that container. The reason I do that is so that the water doesn't get bacteria in it, become contaminated. So that's how I use rainwater. Okay, Thomas, I could not. I would have. Okay. Yeah, you don't want to be around all that duck food. Rick, did you like being interviewed by Dr. Anthony? Yes, because he was the first doctor that ever interviewed me. I really like Dr. Anthony Chafee. I mean, I love his attitude. He's really, you know, seems to care about people. I just love the way that he does things. Like I said, if he was female, I would date him. That's how much I like him. Okay, let's see. Thinking the same thing. Have a beautiful sleep. Okay. Right, Papa Carnivore. I do talk to the owner at times. Okay. Yeah, well, I don't buy any of his products, but I do get coffee from him. I can imagine having to live there. Okay. Donate eggs and meat to Rick. That's a good idea. Rick, would you ever drive a Honda? Well, I have driven a Honda. I had a Honda ATC when I was a kid. I had fun with that thing. And I've driven a Honda Accord and what else? Because for a while when my truck was broken, my friend loaned me his Honda, but it's nothing like my truck or my van. I prefer my truck or van and definitely my Charger. I love Chargers. I get a good feeling when I'm out there in my Charger. Okay. Good night, Annabella. I have rainwater tank. See, that's good. Dr. Anthony is my favorite. He's so kind and compassionate. That's what I'm trying to say, you know. But even Dr. Baker, I like him too because he's got that nice attitude. He doesn't seem to get mad at anything. You can criticize him. That's the way most of the carnivores are now. The vegans, on the other hand, Michael Greger, can you imagine trying to confront him on his vegan diet? He would blow up. Every vegan I've ever had to deal with turns into a disaster. Either they're debating you on climate change or they're telling you how bad meat is for the environment. That seems to be their thing. They can't resist that. Okay. So, wow, we have 49 still. That's really good. What make and year are your truck and van? My truck is a Ford F-250. It's a 1990. It has a 7.3 non-turbo diesel. My van is a 1998 Ford E350 van. It was originally a shuttle bus at the airport. It has a 7.3 Power Stroke diesel. Both of them have E40D automatic transmissions. And of course, my Chargers, they range anywhere from a 318 V8 all the way up to a 440 V8. And they are both 1969 and 1970. Okay, I do, but I can't drink. As the bats go over and to try when I first moved in to get so sick. I had pains in belly and on the loo. Said I have to buy my water. All right, well, some water is just not safe. I mean, if you live in Flint, Michigan or something, I'm sure the water is pretty bad. Usually the water here in Miami is not that bad. The problem, I was trying to avoid the stupid fluoride they put in the water, but a friend of mine is actually one of the head water treatment operators at the Alexander Ore plant, and he tells me they have been putting in the fluoride because there's an idea that because of the new government they may remove that requirement, so they've been avoiding it. So that's pretty good. Let's see. I have the greenest grass, beautiful. Well, that's good. If you get enough rain and sun, you can have grass. I eliminated all the grass from my yard years ago because it's just too hard to take care of. I have too many trees. The ducks and the chickens, they dig holes in it. And if I have to work on something, let's say I'm working on a bobcat or working on my car or whatever, it just makes a mess out of the lawn. So I just use mulch. I've gotten rid of the lawn. I use mulch. I have some grass out by the street, but that's it. Cannot understand this climate change thing. The last few summers and winters have been the coldest in many years. Exactly. The whole climate change thing is just a way to make money. It's all about the central bankers in debt. They'll do anything they can to get you in debt, whether they force you to go to college, put you in medical debt, or come up with these ridiculous climate ideas. All right, let's see. Performance on 68 versus 69 to 70 Charger taillights and 69 versus 68 to 70 grill. Well, the 68 Charger has round taillights similar to a Corvette, as you probably know. And the grill is a complete loop. It goes all the way around the front. In 69, they went to that sort of angled taillights that kind of come out and taper down. I have some here in the house. I just don't want to go and grab them. But the grill, what they did, they took the 68 grill and they put in a center divider. It's like a louver looking divider in the center. And then, but the rest of it's the same. The little flip up headlight doors are exactly the same. In 70, they went to a loop bumper, which isn't as good and they tend to rust out. It loops all the way around the grill. And then they went from a vacuum operated set of headlight doors to electric ones. And it looks different. But the tail lights are exactly the same on the 70 as they were on the 69. Sometimes they use like a metal trim piece that was called Charger 500 that they covered it up. But it was basically the same. But they are, oh, also in the 68, the side markers are round lights. But in the 69, they're reflectors. In the 70, they become lights again, but they're rectangular lights. But the basic car body is exactly the same. Now, on the tailgate or the trunk lid, the inner panel on the 68 and 69 are solid, but on the 70, it has like little cutouts because some of those cars had luggage racks. So they changed that. And are your Chargers pistol grip? I don't have any right now that have a manual transmission, but I do have the old one that I stripped, and I do have the pistol grip out of it. It's actually somewhere in this room. In fact, I mean, I can look for it. Maybe it's here. It was here, but I think I put it away. It was the one for the console because they had a pistol grip that you use without a console that had a straight down shaft, and this one has like a little offset in it, so you can use it with a console. But I have all that stuff. I have a very good collection of parts that I have in storage. Some of them are packed in my garage. Some of them are packed in another part of the house. I have parts everywhere. So hopefully one day when I get a decent garage, I'm going to have my charger. I'll start working on it. It's going to be fun because then I'll be making videos about charger restoration. And as you know, I'm definitely a car guy. I love my cars. So that's another thing. I don't know any vegans that are car guys. You know, when you talk about V8s and diesel engines and, you know, vegans get upset. They would rather you drive, let's say, a Tesla or some little electric car, you know, some little tiny thing, or ride a bike. I mean, a lot of vegans do ride bikes, which I also do, which is kind of frustrating for them because I do more cycling than they do, and yet I have diesel engines. And by the way, in an entire year, you know how much gasoline I use? About 10 gallons. That's it. So I use less gasoline than anybody else, and I never order anything. I never go to, I don't use DoorDash or I don't use Uber. I don't use any of that stuff. If I need to go somewhere and I'm not going to drive there, I'll use a bike. And if I can't use a bike, I use mass transportation. I'll get on Metrobus. That's what I do. So when you think about it, even though I'm the guy with the diesel truck and the diesel van and the big V8s, starting up them engines and rumbling the whole neighborhood, I'm the most ecologically friendly of the whole neighborhood. Plus, my yard is one giant carbon sink. You should see how much compost I've produced in the last few years. It's crazy and it's unique. And the thing is, when I do move to a rural area, what you see here is going to be extended massively. You're going to see me. I have all the equipment that I need. I got a wood chipper, bobcats, and I got a bulldozer. I got everything I need already. It's just a matter of moving to another location. And if I can meet other people like me, that'll be even better. That's the reason why I started YouTube. I want to live in a place where I have a nice, secure home. And then if I want to go on a vacation, I can get in my van or I'll even, my motorhome, I have a school bus that ran on wood. It was wood powered. It's been sitting for years. I may cut it up or I may fix it. I was looking at it. I think it's fixable. So what I'm thinking about doing is getting it running, and then maybe in the future I'll go ahead and do like a road trip where I go to visit my friends because everybody's moved out of here. I mean, all the smart people leave Miami because we're getting way overpopulated, and this place is going to be bad. It's going to be Detroit of the South when the economy collapses. So, but yeah, I'll be going around in my bus. My bus, I built it like 30 years ago. It's got a kitchen and a bathroom and everything, and it's carnivore friendly because it does not have a refrigerator. It only has a freezer, and it has a wood gas generator. And I actually cook with wood gas. So the same gas that runs the engine in the bus also runs the stove. And I even have an outdoor grill that I carry with me. So that's really good. Okay, so who do we have now? We have, let's see, experimenting, xylitol. Okay, that's good. Lots of people on today's good. See, that's a good thing. Nourishment Reductive. Ellie is here. Good to see you. And it's a ton of sugar. Okay. Hi, Rick. Oh, look at this. I love listening to the quack. Yes, Feeder does. He's still here. Bruce Coon, I got to run. Okay, well, have some fun. Get the honeydews done. He walks with me. That's a shame. Almost all the new cars are messed up now. Yes. Josephine C. It's 1:42 a.m. Look, if you got to go to bed, go to bed. He walks with me, and the Cybertruck looks like a refrigerator. Yes, it does. Oh, look, it's MNJ. This is another person I like to communicate with. You know, I'm in a lot of different chats in the morning, and in fact, my friend Chris, I guess he's going to have a chat pretty soon, maybe 15 minutes or so. I want to catch his chat. That's the financial prepper or whatever he calls himself now. It's another one. He's not really carnivore, but he's close to it. And let me tell you something. It's a guy that's skilled. He's got his own little homestead. He has a great welding channel. If you want to learn about welding, this is the man to look at. And the best thing is, if you look at his physique, it's incredible. What an incredible shape. So, this is a good example of someone else. Remember, we're not all carnivores. We don't have to be. If you're healthy and what you're doing is working for you, keep doing it. You could live into your 90s or even 100. You don't have to be carnivore. But I think a lot of it comes down to attitude and it comes down to your relationship with other people. Okay, so let's see. Have a beautiful day. Yes, I agree with that. Are you planning on staying in Florida? I I hope I can stay in Florida. I got a friend that's moving north of Orlando. I got a friend in Ocala. I got a friend up there in Calhoun County. I got a friend over there in Levy County. I got friends all over the state. So I'm going to do that. Okay, Chris is the frugal prepper. Okay, that's good. Okay. I can't believe I didn't know you had a channel. Yes, I've had a channel since 2007, but I guess a lot of people don't think of me as a YouTuber. Okay, Chris is a frugal prepper. What is it? What a monstrosity. Okay. The Tesla must be the Tesla Cybertruck. Cybertruck is a dumpster fire. It's pretty funny. Okay, at what age are you going to retire? I'm not going to retire. I'm going to get a heart attack. I mean, technically, I guess I've been retired on and off because I haven't had a regular job. I just do what I can. I really don't want to retire because everybody I know that has retired has died within 5 years. And I think a lot of times, once you lose that will to get up and do things, you're pretty much done. You could be like old guy Carnivore. He's retired, but every day he gets up to do his live stream. So technically, he's not retired. And I don't think it's really necessary. If you travel to North Texas, come park on my land and hang out. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm really seriously thinking about getting the old bus camper going because that thing was a lot of fun. It's a 1972 Bluebird school bus. Now, the front of it rusted out, but I got another hood for it. I am thinking about fixing it. That would be kind of interesting because I'll build another wood gas generator. And, you got to go every 100 miles or so, you got to fill up the tank with more wood. And it's basically an attachment that goes on the back of the bus. It's like a trailer, and then it has a line that connects. It's basically a hose. It's one of those, reinforced rubber hoses like they use on semi truck. So the gas producer's in the back, and then it has a cooler that goes underneath as like a pipe. I have a mini split that I put in there, an early one, so it has air conditioning. The original, there's no air conditioning on the engine. So you drive without air. And then when you park somewhere, you plug in, or you can run the wood gas generator. So it has its own onboard generator and it runs on wood gas. So if you're on a farm and you have a brush pile and you have a lot of dry material, you got all the fuel that you need. Now, the drawback is you got to get up in the middle of the night, which I do anyway, to take a leak after 3 hours to fill it up. And then that way you can keep your air conditioner going. But I guess if I go to a part of the world that's not hot 24 hours a day, it would probably work. I put window screens in there. They're all aluminum screens. So it actually kind of works like a Faraday cage. You can't really use a cell phone in there, but it is kind of interesting. I'll see if I can get a video of the inside of the bus so I can show you. It's just been sitting there in the backyard doing nothing. All right. So what else do we have here? Okay. Chris is a frugal prepper. Okay. There you go. What a monstrosity. Yeah. Cybertruck, blah, blah, blah. Okay. You have to keep working on something. Yes, you do. Maybe you could go live while fixing the bus. I could do that too. Very innovative. Please, good plan. Okay. I bet you could put some solar panels on that baby. Yes, I could. Or you know what else I could do? I could carry solar panels just like inside. And then when I go to park somewhere, I'll just set them up. So I'll fill like the inside with a bunch. If I could have maybe 2,000 watts of solar, just have it all on panels, have like a frame that you unfold, put it next to the bus and line it all up and then plug it in, have the inverter. That would work. I'm going to think about that too. Yeah, the old bus, that was kind of neat having. Okay. I'm glad Jonathan turned me on to your live stream. It feels like catching up with an old friend. Yes, even though you don't know me. Well, I am. And the thing is, I've only met one carnivore. I've only met one person off of YouTube since 2007. We met in November. We went to the Rodizio all you can eat Brazilian steakhouse. We had a great time. If you know him, his name is Russ Mitchell. He has a keto cookout, and his channel is called Homesick Buckeye. Great guy. And I felt like I've known him. I'll be back with him on Tuesday because we have another live. So we'll be doing that. And if you want to interact more, he has the StreamYard software, so you can go in there and put your questions. And you can even be a guest in there. You can join in if you like to do that. That's at 8:30 on Tuesday. So that'll be an opportunity. And I'm really happy that you're here. Let's see. And I'm glad that, we YouTubers, we need to kind of cross as who says that? It might be Barkay that says you cross pollinate. I think that just like a plant, just like a tree, having a network in the soil is the most critical thing. And I think the more of us that get to know each other, the better. What I don't want to see is the carnivore community turning into a cult where you have to join and get a membership in order to participate. And I am against that. The people that have their private Zoom calls and they have their private groups and they charge you $10, $30, or whatever a month. I'm against that 100%. Now, again, you want to donate money. I'm not against that. I think that eventually, I mean, like I said, my dream would be to have a cryptocurrency backed up with meat or eggs or something like that. And then you could earn that currency or buy that currency and then share it. You wouldn't have any middleman. And then you could send it, like if you wanted to send it to somebody, then that person could go to someone who supplies meat and then exchange it or exchange it for other things. That would be nice. And again, I'm not against marketing. If people want to sell books, I'm all for that. You want to sell courses, go ahead and sell the courses. You want to have a private group, go ahead and do it. But just don't restrict yourself to the private group. And I've seen this happen with financial channels. There was a channel that the guy used to do about Wall Street and all that. I stopped watching his channel because most of his videos went to the private group. I'm like, why am I going to bother? It's like all these newspapers. I don't look at them because they're all, you got to sign up. And you start signing up for these subscriptions, and pretty soon you're spending all your money on that. It's not worth it. So I would rather donate 2 or 3 hours, or 5 hours a week or whatever it is. I donate my time exclusively on Saturday. I donate a couple hours during the week. I'd rather do that than try to exchange money for things. I think that's just not right. But anyway, I'm just glad that I have this many people that come here to watch me. I've had over 50 people in the live stream. That's pretty good. I think it's going to increase because this is just a temporary setup. This is just me doing it from inside the house. Eventually, when I get a decent Wi-Fi link going outside and a decent tablet or phone, I'm going to try to do outdoor live streams. And then that way you can kind of interact in that way. And there's a lot of things I have planned. I may even try to do a mobile live stream at times if I can get a decent signal. I don't have a cell phone. I don't have cell phone service, but I'm sure I can find a way. I pretty much figured out all the passwords for the Wi-Fi is down the street, so it's probably possible. Okay, now let's see if we can wrap this up because I want to try to catch Chris's live stream, which I think starts at 11. Okay. I've only met one carnivore too. Yeah, see? Adrian, yeah, her children. Yeah, I'll be going to meet up in Tampa. I'm going to try to get there. I hope I can get my engine by then. And if I do, I'll go there. I don't know. I mean, I guess I could drive back and forth. It'd take a long time, but I'm going to try to do that. So we'll see. I do realize that Tampa's at 4. I'll figure out a way, I think. Yes, Juliet. Rick is warm, friendly, inviting, and very enjoyable listening to him for sure. Well, thank you very much, Peter. I appreciate that. How did that hamburger turn out? You made it a short. Oh, it was good. It was always good. I'll have to make a video of eating a heart attack burger again. It's been a while since I did one. Have you watched Rick's heart attack chicken cooking video? It's so good. Oh, it's I'm savory. I want to have some now. Question: what are your thoughts about people going religiously to the gym? I think it's good if your goal is to build your physique and your goal is to maximize your composition. There's no other way than going to the gym. And I think if you like it and it's giving you results, go ahead and do it. I've tried it before. I do intend on trying it again, but at this point, I just don't have the time. I'm always working, and my diet isn't as much meat. I need to eat a lot of food to put on weight. So when the meat gets cheaper and things are better, then I'm going to try it again. But I think it's good as long as you're not making yourself unhealthy. I think it's a great thing, especially older people. You really should think about going to the gym. That's very important. Starlink and hit the road. Oh, there you go. It all comes down to money. Papa Carnivore, I did. Okay, that's good. Your kids will love it. So good, make it crispy. Oh, it's good chicken. Do you ever do work up in Broward County? Yes, I do occasionally. Not as much as I used to, but when my truck was running, I did several jobs up there. I haven't been up there. I don't think I've been there in 2 years, but I have done it in the past. Um, nice. Try and make it next week. Good. Roasting a whole chicken today in an oven rack, 4 hours until the skin gets crispy and getting the fat. Yeah, chicken can be very good. Again, I prefer it fried, but you can make a good chicken roast if you want to. So it's always a good thing. Well, anyway, it's about it's been more than 2.5 hours. Now, I did a little earlier, but of course it got interrupted. So, you know me, I do the 2.5 hour streams, and that's good. I'm glad that we've had so many people come in. We have 47 right now, and we have 44 likes. That is fantastic. You see, I tell everybody, I don't have the most subscribers, I don't have 100,000, but I have the best subscribers. I have more likes. I have very few bad comments. I have good participation. I communicate with my people. This is not a club. This is a group of friends because that's what we need to do. Remember, we're in the carnivore, we're in the team. Even if you're not a carnivore, we're still on the same team. We're on team survival, sustainability, and health. That's what we want. I'm not trying to force you to eat anything you don't want to eat. You know, you like duck food, eat duck food. But again, if you're getting sick, you're getting obese, you're having problems, consider the carnivore diet. If you're stressed out, your life is a mess, you're deep in debt, consider making some financial changes. Consider eliminating debt. Consider reducing stress. It's all about the lifestyle. And you know what really gets me? There's this goofy guy. He calls himself what is it? Shane Sterling, which I don't think is his real name, the raw vegan hero. I love to watch the guy because it's like watching a dumpster fire. This guy promotes his vegan diet and how good he looks and how good shape he's in and all that. And he tells people that, this is going to fix everything with the juice fast and all. And I comment on his channel, you know, it's entertaining for me because the he gives you the promotion. And what does he always give you at the end? Join my club, join my whatever. It's cheap. It's always down to money, 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 money. So all these people talk to you, and then comes the money, money, money. I need donations for this. I need money for that. Blah, blah, blah. You know, and I understand it. They're making money off of this, which I'm not against making money off of it. Some people, but it just sometimes the information doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, what am I going to do? Okay, now I see we got 50 people now. That's great. But the thing is, I want to look at another live stream, so I may have to cut this off pretty soon. And I know, Chris Financial Prep or whatever, I want to watch this live stream. But thank you so much for being here, and thank you. Oh, I see that Big Belly Vamos. Yeah, she's come in. It looks like that's another channel I liked. Josephine C, you're beautiful. First time seeing you live. Yes, 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 yes. I'm live every Saturday unless I run into a problem. So, but yeah, Ruthie is here. And their channel, there's kind of interesting. Her husband's in the trucking and they had a skid steer with a mulcher for a while. And, there's again, these are real people, which I like to watch videos. I like to interact with them. And I think many times people just sort of fall into their little clique and they go for the popular YouTubers. I know a lot of people, you have like Beast, Mr. Beast or whatever. They got these YouTubers that give away stuff and they do stupid things. And you got this idiot kid. What is his name? Diesel something, or I don't know. He destroys stuff. And, you got these goofy YouTubers out there. They appeal to the teenagers. And I understand that. But I don't understand the point of that. What we need to do, we need to communicate with each other, and this is the way we can do it. And again, you can look at my profile on YouTube. You'll see that I have my email and I have my phone number and all that. If you want to reach me, you can always do that. I'd be very happy about that. And yeah, there's a lot going on, and you can see some of you even have black cats, which is nice. So anyway, let's see. I enjoy staying to the end. Yes, that's good. Thank you, Rick. Thank you. He walks with me. It is about 11 o'clock. And again, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to sign off the live. If you want to communicate with me again, come in on Tuesday and I'll be there with Russ Mitchell in his Keto Cookout Live, which is going to be at 8:30 on Tuesday night. So, and then you can interact better. If you want to come on the channel, you can do that too. Go ahead and join. The link is given there. So you can do that. There's just so many opportunities that we have to communicate. And again, I'm really happy that you're here. And I'm going to hopefully next week I won't have any more of these technical issues, but I can't promise it's all out of my hand. And maybe in the future, we're going to do breakfast with Rick, or we'll have like heart attack burger with Rick or something like that. There's a lot of other options. And I try to always take my Saturday morning off. So again, thank you for being here. And I hope to see you again. If not Tuesday, I may even be on Thursday. A lot of times on the Nia's Way channel, she'll invite me. I'm not sure why anybody would invite me because I turn to quack everybody's channel up. But yeah, you can find me. Feel free. But again, Tuesday on Russ Mitchell's channel, you can join the channel. You can bring yourself out if you want to, or you can just write comments. So let's do it and keep out there, keep fighting the good fight. If you're on the carnivore diet, do the carnivore diet. And if you're just into sustainable living, keep doing that. Stay out of debt. Don't be fooled by scammers and be a real person. Think for yourself and let's work together because this is the way that we're going to improve our life and we're going to enjoy each other. Take care.